we're gonna have to fix this.
What's that?
Yeah, this is not. Well, I guess that's.
We can put something in there.
Yeah, as long as this is balanced and does not get tipped over.
Don't let it tip.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm having second thoughts about this.
Here's some fishing line.
What's that going to do?
String. You can tie it. String is for tying things. You're not going to move it during the thing, right?
No, not during the thing.
Cut this. Just make sure you cover up the thing. Right? There's some scissors right there.
Okay.
Right behind you. They almost went up your nose.
I've never been great at finding things for anybody watching. But, oh, now we have a cat trying to play with this. We're just getting set up here, but this is the live show night for P.e.a.c.e. Inc. P stands for People Evolve as Consciousness Expands. We have a cat playing with a
ball of string, imagine that.
ball of string. Okay.
Behind you is Halo, the focus of today's presentation.
Yes. So I'll get my face out of the way. What you're looking at, you can't see the colors very well, but that is the hybrid quantum computer that we are going to be presenting. And we've talked about this in the past broadcasts we've done on this channel. S.C.R.E.A.M. Okay, now let's just share this live with everybody so that they can see us here. If you're watching, feel free to, this is the pre-show right now. So feel free to type your questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer. Okay, so let's see.
Should I go like this? That'll keep it from falling.
Yeah. I don't think, yeah, you don't have to go too crazy. It's not, all my data's backed up anyway. Yeah, this is sturdy. You're good. Yeah, yeah. As long as SB or...
I'm going to give her, I'm taking her in the other room. I want her out here, but...
Yeah. You're all better. You need to come here, okay? Have you ever taken out string in front of her? Okay, so what we're going to do is leave this broadcast on for most of the night here as we do our live show in front of the TSC audience. Now, we are not on this channel broadcasting anything directly from the TSC feed, so nothing that is that they have the rights for is being broadcasted here. This is just showing the P.e.a.c.e. Inc. doing the show, kind of a behind-the-scenes type of video here. What else do we want to mention? We just launched our Kickstarter today, and yeah, it's called the Hypercube Algorithmic Language Oracle on Kickstarter, if you want to check that out. And that page actually describes a whole bunch of our products and what we're going to be putting to the market for people who pledge support. And it also describes some of the details of our vision and where we're going to take this technology as soon as we can. And so any help we get would be wonderful. If not, there's no pressure to contribute. You're welcome to just enjoy the show. And yeah, that's
Where's that posted?
What?
The live feed, or it's on your channel, right?
It's on your channel, Scream for Peace.
Oh, that's right.
but I shared it. I shared it on my Facebook page. The link. Anyway, any comments, questions? If you just want to say hello, feel free to leave them in the comments. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Hello. Feel free to leave any comments, questions. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Hello. Feel free to leave any comments, questions. Are you playing that over here? What are you doing?
This is
Oh, that's a horrible sound. All right, sorry, folks, technical difficulties. Okay, is that because, are we listening to the mic on this?
the mic is on that.
Right. So what was causing that feedback?
I just hit post it to Facebook.
And did it tune in over there when you did that?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, you're playing it, so you have to exit out of that. Yeah, see, you're playing it. Out of that. Yeah, see, you're playing live. Worry on that. That works too.
Yeah.
All right. Got past that little mishap here. It would not be a show, or it would not be field work, if there was not an emergency right beforehand.
Yeah.
I should tell the story. When I was a grad student doing the Las Vegas ozone project in 2017, that summer, a couple of days before we were supposed to deploy, we figured out that the instrument that measures NO and NO2, that's basically precursors to ozone in the atmosphere, that instrument that we were going to take on our plane did not work for what we needed it to do for the project. It worked, but it didn't work for the project requirements. It basically did not work above 15,000 feet. And so 2 days prior, we had to get a whole new instrument and figure out how it works and put it in the plane. And so that kind of thing happens all the time in field work. We kind of just expect it. But yeah, what you're looking at is, yeah, I wish these colors would come over this camera a little better. But some people have said to us, like, wow, that's a really nice backdrop for your Zoom. And then I'm like, no, this is real. This is not a backdrop. You can actually reach out and touch this. Some other people at the conference were like, we want to be there wherever that is. It'd be wonderful if I was in Arizona right now, but this is also pretty good, I gotta say. Okay, let's see. If you're watching, feel free to say hello in the comments. I see 3 viewers right now. If you don't want to show your face, that's okay. What you're listening to is a synthesizer, 2 synthesizers actually. One right there, which is from the 80s.
S.C.R.E.A.M synthesizer.
S.C.R.E.A.M synthesizer.
Classic.
Yes, classical analog S.C.R.E.A.M, old school, but very powerful synthesizer. And through the computer, through Halo, you are listening to drone sounds, which are being produced by actually not electron tunneling right now, because we're using that for a different experiment, but normally they're electron tunneling driven. And we have a 3rd experiment running at the moment. Well, really just 1 experiment right now. But the main data we're collecting is all 9 of the electron tunneling quantum noise source non-random event detectors on there are operating right now at full capability, and we're just looking at the raw 1 and 0 output on a screen. So we can do way more exciting things with it. But for now, we're just running that in the background because the show is kind of taking up all the rest of our power with the lighting and everything. But we can, of course, scale this up. What does that look like, the Z store over there? Did the Zoom start now? Right here?
It's over 2.
Over 2?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
I don't mean turn it off. No, but I mean don't obsess with it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Looks like your Zoom meeting is starting. What I would do is I would start the video and I would mute.
Okay, we need to turn this down a little bit. Mute mic.
What do we need to turn down this in?
I'm listening.
Okay, I'm going to start the video. Okay, video is live.
Center the camera so I can you make make my screen big so I can see it.
Now I can't hear. Did you silence the sound on this?
I can hear it.
Now I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it. Should we test our mic?
Go on.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, speak and ask them if you can hear.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's not very focused. It's not very focused.
Yeah, it'll be more focused on me. What is
Okay.
this? You are muted.
Yeah, I muted the mic. So just testing.
There. Better?
Still blurry.
What about the wow, it's really bright. I'm gonna do this. So I turn that. I guess we could do this. That'll brighten it up.
That didn't unblur.
It did not. Well, it's an autofocus camera, so the only thing we can do is do this closer.
Yeah. Can you get it closer? Yeah.
Maybe is there a setting on there? There we go.
Yeah, that's better. I guess, yeah, I'm just maximizing the screen, so it's probably looks worse than it actually is.
Right.
It's kind of hard to see. There's not a lot of, yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. Testing, can you hear me?
I'm muted. Do you want the?
Yeah, testing, can you hear me?
Okay. All right, I'm gonna unmute for now.
All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How do the colors look from your end?
Delightful.
Not too jarring, I guess. It's a little difficult to see.
Not too garish.
After this, once I got everybody's name, it's easier. I guess it's
Hi. Hi there.
Hello, how is everyone doing?
Hi. Good.
Good, good. I'm the tech that's going to be running the webinar for everyone. So I just wanted to speak with Sasha for a moment.
That's me.
Hi, Sasha. Are you the moderator for the session?
Yes, I'm supposed to be the moderator.
Do you want to turn the fan on?
Have you done this before?
Yes, I've not, well, not on this conference, on Zoom, but on conference on Zoom. And generally, I've studied the TSC before.
Okay, great. Well, pretty much just like the usual. I don't know how most sessions people can kind of start off a little bit about themselves. I know you guys have a lot of our panelists in your particular session, so just say something brief, and then all the questions will come in through the chat symbol or the Q&A symbol down at the bottom of the screen. Those will come in on the right-hand corner of your screen. So any questions that get asked, feel free as a moderator to kind of pick which ones go from there.
So we have like an hour officially, right?
I believe so. You have 45 minutes. 45 minutes. So,
how long should we? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, how long should we take for our intros?
I mean, you got a lot of panelists. Most, Zoom sessions, it's like a few minutes. They'll say a little bit about themselves and kind of questions will start pouring in about that time.
Okay.
Since you have so many, I would just make it short and sweet. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That way, it allows everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves, say a little bit about themselves, and be able to have an opportunity to answer some questions at the end as well.
Okay.
All right.
How many panelists are we expecting total?
Oh, I can check real quick. You just gotta give me a second. But this is one of the larger ones.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm in the right one, actually. I think I am.
Yeah, this is C24.
Did it? Okay, good.
Yeah, C24. So, and then for those
Weird.
because the panelists listening right now, if you were not speaking, please mute yourself because we don't want to pick up any ambient noise in the background. Okay?
Are you recording that?
No, we are recording it, yeah. And all these sessions will eventually.
Okay, so I'm going to control the mic.
For everyone else to be able to view.
Oh, good.
So you're muted right now,
Okay.
and when you're going to speak, I'll unmute, and I will take care of all that.
There's a panel on culture and humanities and art and all that.
It's C24, so yeah, it's culture and humanities.
Right. So if you want to speak, say unmute first.
It's more like a debate than Q&A on what's happening in Durham. So.
Correct. All right, so we'll start off in a few minutes.
I'm not debating anybody. This is not a debate.
Right.
Is that what that guy said?
I don't think so.
But we're off, right? Testing.
Yeah, no,
Can anybody hear me?
No, we're muted right now.
Hi there. And then, morning. Where are you? I'm in India. Well, good evening to you wherever you are. But I am in Germany, so yeah, for me, good morning itself. So it's, I think this new reality is altering all our space-time concepts right now.
I wonder what's. It's too bad the colors are not cleared. Has it always been like that?
Am I at the right place for the non-local gathering?
That's too.
Well, you can take it closer. And
No, I did it. It didn't work.
Are we
Right, but I mean, like, were you gonna take it right up?
I did. It's insane. Is there a quality setting on there?
On Zoom?
You're all a projection of my imagination. You're all just being brought together suddenly here.
5 minutes?
2 minutes.
And so maybe next time you can project me while I'm still sleeping. So, yeah.
I don't think there's a quality setting.
Okay, we'll just roll with it. So it looks clear on YouTube, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't see the color either way, so. But yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing. Now you can smoke while attending
Yeah.
a TSC session. That wouldn't have been possible.
They said they could,
Huh?
they said the quality was fine on there, and I think. What I was saying was, you can
still have some participants and panelists.
grab the camera and move it, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Start you off early.
tour.
Second, I need to leave the cat out of the door, otherwise she'll make noise. I'm thinking, 5.
I had to lock my cat out of my room. I had an interview not too long ago, and I was talking to the people interviewing me, and they was like banging at my door, and it was like my little tiny cat trying to break in, and they're like, "Someone's trying to break into your house." Oh shoot!
Oh, that's okay. We just started. You're live.
All right.
All right, cool. So again, good morning, good evening. I'm Sasha Siebert. I'm from Germany. I'm a filmmaker. I've been working with TSC for over a decade now. I'm a friend of S.C.R.E.A.M. I usually do a program called Consciousness Central, like from TSC. So the right of
10 panelists right now.
Here we go. So as far as I understood, reflection, debate, discussion of what is happening in what the conference officially called C24. Great you're all here, and I would suggest everybody introduce themselves real quick, and then we have a conversation.
Just a second, I'm in C23, am I in the wrong place?
Well, it depends on. But this is officially this is for C24 as far as I understood. So then you might be.
Anybody
I'm not familiar with
tell me, am I in
the
the right place, or is there another room for us?
No, I
have
Unmute me.
double check how many rooms there are.
he's in the same as ours.
I think it's fair to say that you're welcome.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you're very.
Can you unmute me, please?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Oh.
I'll join you. You seem like a good partner.
No, you're in the right one. You're in the right role. Because we were both in the same video screen, and this is the only link they send out for it. So you're in the right. Yeah.
That's right. You're the mediator guy. That's right.
But I see a lot of very interesting backgrounds for everybody, so I'm looking forward to hear more. Very nice. So, should we start with a quick round of introductions? So, should I call you like?
Yeah.
Or do we just do it around? So, yeah, let's start with Alan.
Yeah, howdy. Hi, I'm Alan Nisi, and my first time at TSC, and I come out of the world of biomedical engineering, research and development director at a biomedical engineering company. I work with performing emotional and motivational state measurements on people. And I'm also an applied science artist, and I've been working recently with Mark David Hossail, who's also here, and I'm sure you'll see himself later. Pleasure.
Alex, do you want to be next?
Yeah, sure, okay. I'm Alexander Hauer from Turin, Italy. I'm fresh retired from university, and I have a PhD on composition psychology, and then P.e.a.c.E. in medicine, psychiatry. And what I'm doing is research on is TSC from 2009, 11 years. I'm mostly interested in the application in therapy, music as a science. in this presentation, I prepared a video with a soundtrack. Now, the video is about microtubule resonance as a musical vocabulary and grammar. And the soundtrack, it's a piece I wrote for therapy, for therapy, based on the research provided by P.e.a.c.e on result microtubule resonance. And he sent to me some data, and I work in presentations about this work. I present also all the compositional work and the score. And who will watch the video there can hear, can listen as well. All practical oriented and make a music in therapy. My method of therapy is based on therapy. Actually, it's the presentation
Okay, thank you, Alex. I just wanted to ask Leo, but Leo.
Oh, Leo's ready. Leo's ready.
Sure. My name is. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Leo Madrid, broadcasting live from a room we call the Inner Space Station. I do installations. I've been doing installations, art and science installations at festivals like Burning Man Pre-Compression. I've done Sand Conference, Maker Faire, World's Fair, and it's all been leading up to actually what you see here, which is what we believe to be the world's first true hybrid quantum computer with brain-machine interface. And this is actually a transhumanist project as well, as the operating system has been integrated with my own DNA. And I call it biodynamic quantum computing. It's like a computing environment where when you walk in, you become part of the operating system. And in addition to this unit up here, this is a very high performance supercomputer that's actually been outfitted with 9 electron tunneling devices, which were very similar to this down here. This unit down here is actually what I call the ethospheric modulator. And that also has 10 quantum devices in it, which uses electron tunneling to generate the data that you're looking at. I created this design and believe this is a coherence detector, and with a little bit of development, we can pull measurements out of this that will allow us to measure non-kinetic time dilation. So this provides for a unification point between consciousness, the laws of relativity, and quantum mechanics. We have listed and claimed about 15 different claims in a press release, and we're inviting artists, scientists from all over the world to take a look at, to validate or help us improve on our technology and presentation. This is currently utilizing brainwaves. We can utilize like an EEG brainwave signals going into meditative states with entrainment devices, blinking lights and sound, sending our brain waves to the computer, combining them with the onboard electron tunneling devices for machine learning algorithms. We are currently doing tests on the D-Wave, which incorporates the Global Consciousness Project, eggs, and also integrating this with a geolocation application with the XYO network, which is on the Ethereum blockchain. So we have tied this with a algorithm to the actual price of Ethereum. And so there's a lot of different applications with this, but this is, I think, a good blending of art and science together in a way that is hypnotic. If you were here in this place, what we are talking about wouldn't seem maybe so out there, because with the signals and the signs coming through here, you can actually see how your consciousness affects it. And we can make music with this, movies, and all kinds of things. So if you check out our website, haloai.me, we've got samples, growing samples there, and then of course our submission videos.
Well, thank you. Spectacular. Thank you. Olga, you want to be next, please?
Yes, sir. I'm Olga Goldberg.
I'll put the links to our website in the chat.
I'm interested in issues of
Am I muted?
history, popular culture, memory,
Am I muted?
and
Yeah, you are, yeah.
ability of cognitive ability of literature. My presentation here was about inner speech and autobiographical memory in the works of several Spanish and Latin American authors. And through the text, they dealt with the experience of reading. And one is a poem from 17th century Spanish author Quevedo, and this is a short story from Argentinian author Cortázar, Julio Cortázar. I also look at a short story that deals with the experience of reading and also the experience of writing, mostly by a Spanish author, contemporary author. And lastly, I looked at a novel in which inner speech is used mostly to give us an insight into autobiographic memory of this author. And it's a type of a newer novel. It's about the workings of the mind. And the interesting thing about this novel is that there's no other characters
That's
outside.
good. I think you hit on just about everything.
The mind speak and soul speak. So
Can you pull up the grid and minimize
on the
us?
pages that
Please.
what you're reading is not necessarily relying on.
There we go.
Interesting. And I'm interested in seeing what literature and science can learn from each other.
Very interesting.
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you.
Mark David, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mark David Hosso. I'm an associate professor, chair of computational arts at York University in Toronto, Canada. So hello from Canada. I'm a computational artist and composer. So I have a background in music composition and theory with the emphasis in electronic music. And
What's his name?
I guess how I would describe a computational artist is someone who uses the systems and computation thinking and modes of expression.
Last name
However, a lot of my work is
H-O-S-A-L-E.
physical,
Okay.
so I make installations, architectural scale, and to object scale. And I've been working with Alan Macy for several years now on, as he was explaining, working with emotional state data, so working with new modes of interactivity that promote human connectivity, self-awareness, and and in order to develop artistically expressive systems that respond to your emotive inclination.
Thank you, Mark David. Next picture shows Diana. Could you let us know a little bit about yourself, please?
Yes, I will. I'm Tatiana Ginsburg. I'm from Russia, and currently I'm in St. Petersburg. It's almost middle of the night. But I'm glad to be with you. I've been in several conscious conference. I'm transpersonal psychologist, PhD in transpersonal psychology. And I'm very involved in spiritual community in Russia and the US. I've done it informal volunteer project Russian House in California. So actually my talk is about consciousness cognition. It's called embracing the unbraceable. So I'm assuming that to conceive the consciousness is quite difficult, and it's actually philosophy talk, mainly in ontology of consciousness.
You're muted. What's the person's name?
Maybe my
accused you?
style
That's her.
to
Her.
Speaking now.
Got it.
So it was put in Arctic Health story but I would be very glad to answer any question about the topic of consciousness evolution.
Thank you, Tatiana. Then I see very, very nice gongs hanging behind two nice people laughing at us. The name says Michelle, but we have a gentleman with a beard in the picture. So maybe Michelle is the person to the right.
No, yes, I'm Michelle. He's Ron.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Ron as well. I'm Ron on Michelle's account.
Hi, great to be here. Together we are the Art of Gong, and we put up a video from a collection of pictures and our sounds. We created the gong and halo boots. We've been doing sound meditation for over 10 years now.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
I don't know if anybody saw the video because we don't speak to anybody at this conference. So it was kind of hard for us to find it, even though we created it.
I did find it and I loved it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shoshana, you want to be next? Did I spell the name right?
Beautiful. Yeah, Shoshana. My other name's Bryn, so I guess confusing it. Two first names, two last names. But yeah, I'm just absolutely honored to be part of this. My background's in literature, so I did my PhD at Oxford, and but watching you guys read your abstracts, it's just I'm so inspired. So my work, the presentation I submitted is on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and looking at notions of consciousness and compassion in the novel. Part of a wider project called Books, Brains, and Benevolence. I'm looking at empathy and compassion through the lenses of philosophy and psychology and neuroscience. So the presentation itself looks at, so one main thing is synesthesia in the novel. So the creature, or the monster, when he's first born, actually through the language you see actually presents as having synesthesia as we do when we're children. So there's this confusion of senses when he's really young. And so the novel is kind of this expedited version of evolution. He goes through sort of the same life stages that we go through. And ultimately a question about consciousness and what it means to be conscious and aware, and whether this creature who has been created artificially is able to experience what we experience. So it is just an ultimate investigation of the science of consciousness. I don't want to take up too much time though, so I will stop there. And I'm so excited to hear more from all of you.
Thank you very much.
What's her name?
Big word, the ultimate exploration of
Shoshana.
Got it.
I love that.
I'm just asking so I can refer back to them.
Elizabeth, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Hello, yeah, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm an undergraduate student at Arizona State University. I study medicinal biochemistry, but I've also been very interested in consciousness, specifically in the brain. So I do some research at the Neurodegenerative Disease Research Center at ASU's Biodesign. And yeah, I do 2D digital and traditional visual art.
What's your name?
Yeah, on a lot of
Elizabeth
different
Williamson.
science-inspired topics, but I also really enjoy doing artworks about consciousness and kind of bringing in sort of a surreal and creative aspect to a discussion of how topics such as quantum physics, philosophy, etc., are, connected. And so, yeah. Oh, and also, I didn't realize that we would be given the opportunity to panel here, so I do have to head out at 7:30, but I also left my contact information in the presentation, and I can put it in the chat. So
Can you unmute me real quick?
if anyone has any extra questions.
I like your use of alternating values and symmetry in your artwork.
Thank you. Yeah, and also, yeah, I really love bringing kind of like a very colorful and bold style, and I think it really helps me in my goal of sort of, I really want to use sort of this interesting surreal style to define the essence of humanity, and that's kind of, yeah, part of my goals. So.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Anna, you are next.
Hi, Mom. I teach at the Faculty of Fine Arts at the
And
Complutense
so if my hand
University.
is up, that means
So,
you're unmuted.
my background is a little mixed, but mainly fine arts. So I have had a constant interest in consciousness. And right now, my line of research is specifically altered states of consciousness, modifications of consciousness and art. And so what is a bit of an phenomenological I'm focusing especially on Susan Hiller, as you've seen in the
What's your first name?
presentation.
Honoribas. N-A-R-I.
Great, thank you. Last but not least, Mark. Good morning, Mark. Please tell us a little bit. The gentleman who's also known as Penny-centric.
Hi, Sasha. Thank you. I didn't realize I was stepping into a panel.
That's okay.
And I missed the early part of it. So, yeah, so I've been honored to be able to contribute this
Who is this guy?
centric approach to
Mark
consciousness,
Valadris.
which is basically an experiential approach.
A-R-P-S.
Sort of like yoga's meditational art form. The idea is, you can use tennis as a hitting discipline to, understand the role of the mind and become aware of consciousness as it's sort of, as you're experiencing it, which is fundamental to understanding it, such as the primacy of, the experience. Chalmers' formulation, and I've been a long-time student of consciousness. I studied neuroscience at Amherst College, and then sort of went in the direction of independent study. I just basically wanted to have my own pathway into it, and so tennis was a teaching discipline. Learning behaviors were in place, and I felt like I could just move within the domain of my own curiosity by funding my own research and study. And I don't know if I've harvested anything, but the idea was to sort of go to the science of consciousness and sort of learn everything that I could. And my approach was to sort of read broadly across the field, which I learned to do at Amherst. Infinite Jest, yeah, that was David Foster Wallace, who was my tennis partner at Amherst. And much of the dialogue that, I'm entertaining is, part of that journey. And the Stravinsky gasket, which is in the tennis-centric videos, is a reference to that. So thank you, Shauna, friend Joan Square, for asking that question. But I'm so appreciative that Abby and Stuart have been able to pull this together and include elements like me, who essentially a lay element coming into an academic community, without any kind of vested interest, but just the desire to have a good explanation. And part of harvesting, I think the essence of the experience, which I think, Sasha, you've been privy to, is that you see it as an observer, which I think this referential aspect in consciousness, which is really the qualitative state. Nobody's having the Sasha experience, and we're all in this sort of social community together to try to understand it. Really a remarkable contribution. So I'm just here as a fan, really. So thanks.
Thank you, Mark. So, thank you very much for the first round of introduction. We have approximately like 20 something minutes left. What I just found as the overall theme, what just came to my mind, where it came from, is playfulness, which seems to kind of, from my perspective, unite us in our own unique ways. I'm pretty open to how the rest of the session goes. So is there any particular need to ask questions between each of you, or does anybody wants to add something which then maybe not ends up in another 20-minute monologue or something? Or how do we proceed? Any suggestions or anything? I mean, we are kind of maybe the last session, if you give out the consciousness, the conscious loose and the entertainment. So this is kind of a little bit of a chance to wrap it up. So we are a little bit in a very exclusive position as well. So yeah, what do we do with it? Any suggestions or anything? Yeah, sure.
I have a question. Am I up?
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, I have a question for Mark David in the music. You mentioned that you were creating things that respond to emotive inclinations. And could you go into further detail on what those are, how you measure it and translate that to music?
Music? Well, I don't know if I'd use the term music. So I think music is always part of most of the work I do, but it's more about sonification. So one of the challenges of the work we're doing, and Alan might have something to say about it too, but basically what we do is we measure people's biophysiology, and a lot of our work has been around the heart. And from the heart, we can extract heart rate, which can be an indicator of excitement or arousal, and your heart rate variability, which can be an indicator of how calm or meditative you feel. And from these vectors, you can assess more or less a region of how pleasant or unpleasant someone's feeling. And so if someone has high arousal and negative valence, then they're in kind of the zone of angry. And if they have a low arousal and a negative valence, then they're kind of in the zone of depression or sadness. Although, how we define those terms individually may be different, it's subjective. So a lot of the work is about finding these states and then trying to find ways to express them through audiovisual means and haptics, and then use these in order to create experiences where people can connect to each other. And so I don't know, Alan, maybe you want to add to that?
Well, I guess if I just had to think of the recent historical origin of this work, it would start with Frankenstein, pretty much, I think. It's all related to like extensions of the human nervous system and basically the charge carriers that occur in our body, and the basically electricity that's moving around and it's being transported, in this case here, using sophisticated tools like amplifiers and whatnot to extract this sort of deep kind of emotional, motivational state data, but then allow it to be transmitted to some other space, to a kind of a form of communication that's mediated by charge carriers in our body, but then allowed to be expressed so that deeper meaning can be reflected in the course of our communications.
Am I on? So I really like the Frankenstein theme that's going on. And I kind of am a Frankenstein because if you watch my video, I made a comment several years ago. I had a traumatic brain injury that resulted in 100% retrograde amnesia. And it was a complete wipe. And so I've had to rebuild my life from there, starting from literally zero. And that's when I became a consciousness researcher. And that result, I'm conducting right now non-invasive brain surgery on myself. And so I have a measurable, I'm a veteran, Navy veteran, and so I go through the VA. I have a measurable beta wave deficiency where I'm using electromagnets, TMS, to actually increase my beta waves. And it's done some pretty amazing stuff to my consciousness in a very measurable way. And so I kind of am a walking Frankenstein.
Shoshana, you expressed so much enthusiasm.
I'm
You
pretty
wanna share?
excited.
You want to share a little bit? What makes you so enthusiastic?
I love it all, and yeah, just the idea of everything I talk about, like my dissertation is kind of like everything is Frankenstein. So this idea of this sort of, she starts with this small little idea, and then she says in the novel, I did my hideous progeny go forth and prosper. So that's her introduction to the novel. And so it's referring to the novel itself, but also to the creature or monster, but also to the idea that just like once you let it out into the world, it's like this uncontrollable thing, and then it's branching off like fractals. So it's coming out in different forms, and so it's just constantly sort of branching outwards, which is amazing. But just all of this stuff that you're doing is sort of like applying all of my ideas, but actually doing something concrete with them. So if I can be best friends with every one of you and participate in anything you're doing, I would love that so much. But yeah, I also had a question for it was Anna. Am I pronouncing it right, Anna? It was about well, everything you're doing is so cool. But more about like, so do you talk about prophecy as well as telepathy and that sort of thing? Because Frankenstein, as well as all various Shelley novels, are about prophecy as like a form of intense empathy or attunement to the world. So I don't know if you're around, Anna, but I don't know if you could say more about that. I'm taking up too much time. I'm going to mute it. Thank you, guys.
So, but did I ask me about the prophecy, like, prophetic inspiration?
Yeah, if there's any connection between prophecy and telepathy and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, there's a recognition would be a way to prophesize. But specifically regarding my specific subject in this conference, and I was dealing with dramatic writing, which is not exactly prophecy, which is more in this very specific sense.
Question for you, is it possible that beta oscillations improve binding?
So it's more
ready for that question.
This is my
Who
style.
asked that?
If I do connect with anything, it could be the collective unconscious.
I don't have an answer for that.
But it's certainly in this specific case, it's not referring
Everything
to
can
any
create
prophetic
bonding.
abilities.
So
Rather, it got
I'll answer it when it comes up.
somewhere
Okay.
in the timeline should have to be looking backwards, not forwards. Not in this case. All right. Of course, I'm very interested in all these types of things, but in the specific work I'm bringing here, no prophetic writing.
I love, yeah, just the idea of automatic writing too. Have you looked at like James Joyce? I've watched most of your things, James Joyce and Virginia Woolf on like also stream of consciousness and stuff. I don't want to take too much time, but I would love to talk to you more after this.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm muting myself again.
Sasha,
Yeah.
I wonder if I may respond, if Penrose's quantum entanglement, the idea of causality constituting a form of prophetic writing.
Did that cut out?
Was that a question to me or to
Well, in general, in the field that we were talking about prophetic writing, I didn't want to be dismissive of it, and I thought that was really a remarkable talk today, where he's basically describing within the Planck scale, a backwards time effect, and choosing from the future, the now. I wondered if anybody wanted to comment on that. Okay, Shoshana, you brought it up, but I don't want to be dismissive of it. I think it's it's really super cool that that was on the table.
Definitely, yeah. It just came to mind just because, Mary Shelley's work is all about every one of them about the importance of empathy and an awareness of consciousness and self, and sort of arguing that there needs to be this dissolving of the egoic self in order to truly empathize with another. And so she uses ideas of reading and writing to sort of talk about that idea of the necessity of pushing back the self in order to empathize with others. And so we can have like a training in empathy through reading and listening to music and all of that stuff. So, but that's the idea with prophecy. It's also this idea that it's a form of being incredibly attuned to the universe itself. You're so attuned to it that you're able to sort of predict what's happening in the future. But yeah, the idea, we think with like entanglement, quantum entanglement and stuff. I've been looking into it, but I'm not an expert. I know nothing. So you guys have to teach me everything I know. But did you have more to say about it, Mark?
No, I was just commenting on it. I thought it was really a remarkable talk by Roger Penrose today, and I don't know, how others felt about it, but it's always mind-boggling, for a seminal mathematician to sort of define it, I mean, it is the Frankenstein, really, I think that was delineated here. That and the idea that, the persisting idea that, a macro event, can induce a quantum effect, which these possibilities,
Mark, there are a lot of interesting people here. Let's speak about ourselves.
Good point.
For example, I'm transpersonal psychologist, so I think that the way to study consciousness is the best way, the right way is through you, instead of, I've been the mathematician before, and there is still some, I want to present something like puzzles in my transpersonal psychology. It comes from my mathematical background, which we do a lot of puzzle work. Yeah, I already. But the best way is to look inside and to use a lot of practices like holotropic breath work, rebirthing, include a lot of music, a lot of quantum lamp, in order to get whole consciousness, to understand whole consciousness, conceive whole consciousness, and I think it's more direct way.
Okay.
Maybe someone else wants to add something.
Yeah, so I think a common theme that I've noticed here is a separation between theorists and experimentalists and artists. And that, I think, is one of the biggest divisions in the forward progress of humanity right now. And they're like, the world is currently digressing into a state of global war. And people are sitting around arguing about conceptual theories that can't be tested in any way in our lifetimes. And I think we really need to come together as a community and look at just what Ginsberg just said, look at who's in front of you. Get your head out of the math books, because that's not really where the answers are. The answers are in practical applications. And people, the way to convey these ideas to people is through art and through music and through dance and through community. It's not ever going to be through a formula. And so we have to bring all of these people together, and they will understand consciousness. We have expanded the consciousness of thousands of people with the equipment that you see here through art events, and introduce them to mindfulness. And we've taught hundreds of kids how to meditate with their parents, and it's cool. They enjoy it. And until we can bring that out and take what we're all talking about out of the our living rooms and out into the public, that division will continue, I believe. And this is not anything new. This goes back, Tesla wrote about it 100 years ago. And it's probably, the problem is getting worse before it gets better. And one of the reasons is the ultimate quest for the, this got some brilliant people here in this conference, but everybody's on the quest for the next Nobel Prize, and they can't see beyond their own personal aspirations. And I think we have to, that's where I kind of, maybe that's just my military background, but I think we all have to come together rather than thinking of what are we doing individually as like, where do I stand in the collective? Because none of us should be alone. And I know that we are currently all being isolated alone, but I think we should walk out of this not wondering what we're all going to do next year, but rather how we're all going to work together over the next year to make sure we all have something significant to report, rather than our own individual progress over the last year. I think I've said enough. Thank you.
Our main session
Alex, do you want to add something, or do I miss
Yeah.
it with your slide?
Yeah. Thank you. I think I'm talking about music. What I'm doing is applying the neuroscience of music. And for example, in my method of neurotherapy, I'm composing therapeutic material.
His was my favorite.
That was great, by the way.
Now, each and every psychiatric disorder pokes the body and the organism specific disturbances that are evident, starting with the blood urine and analysis to the most interesting test, psychological tests. Now, I published in 98, 2 years ago, the result of my study was for some years. Part of our brain first physiological mechanics resonates to specific
Look.
frequencies. But attention, for example, the most important, which is the thalamus, resonates to D, but not to one frequency of D, to all the frequencies of D. And this is the gate to our mind. And for example, in classical music, Western classical music, but it's very the music for the world, some kind of D, tonal system, temperate music, Bach, toccata, all the celebrated violin concerts are in D. Some kind of, this is one example. There are 7 points in our organism that resonates to club. Things are more complicated, obviously, but in my research application, I applied in therapy for more than 6 years. If you want to go to one specific point, you can do it by composing the music. Now, important to start from the beginning. What is music? Music is a complex phenomenon. All the complex phenomena
Look at this.
does
It's
not
amazing.
support and cannot support one definition. Exhaustive definition. There are, I'd like to make a comparison with the perfect diamond. How can you define the diamond? It's a stone, yes. It's made by carbon, yes. Does it have any values? There. Biggest best friend. And it depends. So in my opinion, music is here enter another thing. It's a difference between sound and music. Very great and disseminated confusion between sound and music. Music is made by sounds, but sound itself is not music. If you consider the sound as a brick, a pile of brick, whatever huge, doesn't make a building. You have first of all to know what kind of building you want, then to draw the blueprints, then start to dig the foundation, and then you use the bricks. And in the end, you have a structure, but it's not enough. You have the plumbing, and so on and so on. In the end, you have your the building you want. This moment is music. So making some sounds is not music, not yet. You have to organize, and if you know what is your target, you can organize the music, the architecture of music, building of music, according to what you want to do. This is what I'm doing certified for teachers. And you can obtain the results. And mostly in therapy, I'm very, very practical oriented. I mean, all the theories are very good and very practical and very useful. But in the end, we have to apply them. I'm applying it in working as a psychiatrist. It's my method. So what I want to say about Frankenstein and other things is acting in Frankenstein. If you take that, it's will you direct the forces? What are the points on our cortex, on our brain, and in our body that we want to reach and activate? So music written based on this data, and that's why for me the discovery of microtubule resonance was basic because it's exactly this. Each organ, each point resonates to determine frequency. So all the frequency take account of the fact that nature does not exist temporary system. The nature is non-temporary, microtubule, whatever you want to call it. So at this point, it's basic to work with electronic equipment because we can have it very precise. Now, there are ancient systems, musical systems, Chinese, Indian, and Byzantine music, which are very well coded. For example, in Byzantine music, we have 32 divisions of the tone. So this is one of the most debating thing is that most people are considering the temperate system, which is an artificial one. It's created, it's mathematical, it's not natural. And this is related to the production of instruments and other things because you have to have a standard. Now this standard is good for production, but it's in today's world we have globalization which destroyed the specific and the natural system which is not temperate, and microtubule resonance which are not temperate shows exactly this in our
The
brain.
moderator already asked him to stop.
In our body, we don't have temperate. We don't have half tone or tones. We have less than half tones, quarter of tones, and so yes, I'm here. So what I want to explain is this. No, thank you. What I want to say is that when we talk about music, we have to consider the music as a science. It's an architecture. It's construction. It's built according to different principles. Thank you.
Am I up?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Also, because we are unfortunately out of time. I think it was a great session. It was very inspiring for me. Thank you, everyone, for contributing. I think we could do that for a very long time. And so, thank you. And yes, the curtain falls and all questions remain open for the moment. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Feel free to reach out. Alex, I love your work.
All right.
Well, I got that off my chest, didn't I?
Yeah. You missed a call from Richard Stone.
Yeah, I know that was right before it started. Oh, we're still broadcasting live.
How did
Oh, YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
Okay, well, we're not done. Bob Brickman. He should have sent you an email with that Zoom link somewhere. To join for the live poetry.
Oh, yeah.
That should be in your curator at psync.me. Okay, what do we got here? I'm just going to check my messages real fast. Okay, I have no new messages from anyone.
Poetry Slam Live. I got it right here.
You got it?
Yeah, what time to start?
Well, it starts at 8. All right, hello YouTube again. Yeah, just finished.
So review that.
Yeah, think that went well.
Yeah, I think it went well. I kind of went off into that little spurt unexpectedly.
What spurt? Oh, that I think that was the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Discussing. Oh, good. They can see both of us. Discussing. Yeah, that issue that you basically, without it being too much of a rant, it
could have gone on.
Yeah, could have gone on, but I think that was perfect. I think that needed to be said, and that was very clear and concise, and not insulting to anybody.
Good.
Just identifying the problem in an objective manner, a systemic problem.
Right.
Not with any individuals, but as a whole.
Oh, we have stories for individuals, though.
We do. But not during the show.
Look.
Yeah. Nice. Now I noticed it came off of Aurora mode. I don't know when that happened, but
Wow!
What?
How the fuck did that happen? Ooh, look. Oh, didn't you love it when Halo or AIM just lit up when I gave my little speech?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I marked all of that, so we can look at the data later. Let's look
Pull
at
up the TT again.
Nothing remarkable in the REGs. Oh, there's that though. What was this? 2.5, so that was around 730, which was.
It doesn't necessarily work at that moment because there's a delay component to it.
Right.
Yeah. So having it even before or after. That's weird.
Well, we'll probably have to restart again. I mean,
any reason we can't do it now?
We're collecting data.
Yeah, let's wait. It's all right now.
I think that's.
It still looks good.
I don't really think there's a big difference between that and.
No, not on here.
Yeah, definitely not on there.
No, you can't even
Only
see
in
it.
person, really.
In person.
I'd say Aurora mode works.
I really want to talk to the Frankenstein girl. Because she could actually look, she seems smart enough to like it, what we're doing, and it's totally up her alley.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow! Look at that. We're gonna have to get we need to get a webcam that's like it's got a camera that's like cell phone quality.
Yeah.
Or just get it dedicated, and I've got like 5 cell phones around here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get one that's just dedicated for that. That's better than these. Look at that. That's almost like a complete circle.
Almost.
So everybody in that group is entangled with this group, with this now.
Yeah.
And they saw that.
So what is the details of the? No, this isn't the Zoom. Something from Baba directly that will let you join the actual Zoom. This is just where the broadcast is. That went out to everybody. Now, if he didn't, then he didn't send it to you because I only gave him one email. Curator at psync.me. Internet is unstable. Now it's not. All right.
If it's a Zoom, though, it might not be set up the same way.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might just be everybody that's there is there, and we're just scheduled.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. He asked, at any rate, which email address to send the Zoom invite to. And I told him to send it to
That's the only one I got.
curator@p.e.a.c.e.me. Yeah, it's a Zoom
I
invitation.
bet this is it.
From Baba?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, this link. But that,
Right.
would it have come from him directly?
Yes. Because this is just where you tune in, right?
Well, he may not have got it right. I mean, all the direct emails. Since
CEO, yeah, I mean, I typed it, right? CEO, URATOR at peaceinc.me.
just ask him real quick, is it separate? Is the email separate from the regular one? Because I didn't get a separate one.
Yeah, it definitely would have been separate. But he might not send it out until he's ready to launch.
Okay.
But let me send him a message real quick.
We're gonna have a great email to send out to everybody in that group when we send out the explanation of what that video was and the data.
Okay. All right. If he doesn't respond, you can always just type in the comments. Live. All right. We're getting there. We're getting towards the end of TSC. And a very busy but productive and fun week.
Yeah. Oddly busy for being a remote.
I know, same. I didn't realize how.
It's still pretty intense.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like all the. How do you say this? Well, not that it's all negative, but it's kind of like all the hassles of being at a conference with very little of the positives, because you don't get that in-person connections.
You don't talk.
You don't get
anybody.
live events. You don't get to travel to a different place. It's kind of, but yeah.
At the same time, imagine us taking this there.
Yeah, that'd be difficult.
It's difficult. We would have had to have rented. Well, your car, your vehicle may have put this in it.
It could fit. I think protecting it.
That's what I'm saying is the protect. I mean, I still have the original. That's actually the case.
Oh, okay.
So I still have the padded case. So
Yeah.
we'd have to still box it up.
Yeah.
Get there. And just imagine, it just takes one bump in the road to ruin it.
Right. We'd probably insure it before traveling. Yeah, like getting rear-ended. I think that'd be the bigger threat. I don't think a bump is really gonna. Because it comes from somewhere in that case.
Oh yeah. Oh, but not all put together.
Right. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like we would have to take it apart. You couldn't ship it just like this.
Yeah.
You'd have to take it apart, and when you get there, put it all together, and then nothing ever goes wrong when you're starting up a computer. I mean,
as we know,
that would have been a night. This would have been. I mean, like the floor and everything.
Yeah.
So the advantage is we have this here prepped, and we don't have to. It's going to stay this way.
But if this actually happened in April, we would not
have had Halo.
We would not have had Halo.
No.
We would have had
the whole thing would have been a pyramid, like with this in a room and that.
Yeah.
So in many ways, that was like a blessing. This may not have even come to us.
Yeah. If we didn't have the pandemic and having to kind of get creative in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is. Culmination of your last decade work.
Say about 7 years.
Yeah.
Since I really got into this. Actually, I would say like if you wanted to start the official clock, it was 7 years ago that I did my first public experiment. So I would say that was really the beginning of it. And it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
3-day art exhibit. And this looks so good.
Definitely.
Yeah, we should probably switch the stream off your laptop. Oh no, we have to wait. We have to wait till this is done.
Yeah, I think we should keep it on, not switch too many things. Retro Gradient says, hey, if you're still watching, thanks for tuning in. Anybody else wants, or just say hi? We're going to be here for about another 2 hours, probably. What's next is the Poetry Slam and Zombie Blues ending of the conference, ending of the virtual show, which is always a blast and really what distinguishes, in my view, TSC from every other consciousness-related conference that's out there. And I've been to all of them.
What's the difference?
Well, the Zombie Blues, I would say, and the
So what is Zombie Blues?
Basically a 12-bar blues riff, and then there's
what's zombie about it?
So we'll go through all of this. So Dave Chalmers, as anyone here knows, talks about philosophical zombies a lot. Like, what would it be like to have a fully functioning biological system that functions exactly, looks like a human being, conscious organism, but does not have an inner experience. So that is a philosophical zombie. And the purpose of that thought experiment is not because zombies exist, but because it's useful to think about the hard problem in that way as what is it physically that distinguishes a physical system that's conscious, that has consciousness, that has an inner experience, an inner life, from one that just does all the functions, takes in input, produces output, but does not have consciousness? Is it possible to be a philosophical zombie? And so there's a whole bunch of people that do. So the Zombie Blues at TSC is typically, again, it's just a 12-bar blues riff, and people basically sing like, whatever their versions are over that. I don't know how that's going to work virtually. My thoughts are this is going to be mostly a poetry slam, but we'll see. This should be interesting.
So I think this is the same one. Because look, here's an event announcement with everything today, including the Zombie Blues.
Yeah.
And then there's a separate announcement for just the Zombie Blues. But
it's event announcement. That means
it's still
going
the
out to
same
everybody. Yeah, it's
okay. So maybe they don't want me to do live. After they saw that talk, they're like, no, don't give the mic again.
I doubt that.
He just insulted every PhD there.
Committed. No. All you people with PhDs, get your head away from the trees.
You know what PhD? Some people like you, PhD stands for philosophical doctor.
Full doctor of philosophy. Yeah.
Well, if you look at it, how it's spelled out, it's philosophical doctor.
Yes.
Right? You definitely fall in that realm, but other people go through the motions of getting the degree, and then
trash philosophy.
No. They become a pretentious, hypocritical douche nozzle.
Yep.
PhD.
Yeah.
Where they apply all of their knowledge to everybody, to the world outside, but never to themselves.
If everybody follows my ideas, my developments, my thoughts, the world will be a better place.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that.
Just spewing
PhD
stuff all the time.
Yes. So there's that type of PhD and philosophical doctor types.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be in the latter category. I mean, I can be a pretentious. Are we allowed to curse on air?
Everybody can be, but you are not one by nature.
Right.
Like, I met you just before you got your PhD, and just after you got your PhD.
Long before I got my PhD,
you didn't turn into a complete asshole.
That's right.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. That's true. It's sad. Honestly, like, since getting my PhD, nothing changed. I don't feel more special, more powerful. Okay. 8:04. Oh, this should have started.
Sorry, she comes out whenever we are.
Yeah.
Chilling like a. She might make it today.
That's me. She doesn't seem to get mad about being locked in there.
No, she's fucking comfortable. All you can.
Yeah.
The only thing is she's got beds and her water dish.
Yeah.
So
It's not food, but she's eating.
I gave her a whole pile of snacks before. So,
It says hello.
Chat. Hey.
I'm not moving on.
I'm just here.
No, you might invite us.
In the house.
Here.
In the house. Tell me where you're watching from.
Hey, comment.
Y'all watching right now. Put it in the chat. Yeah, Dr. Brinkman. Yeah, I just break it on any single beat, rapping from my basement. Yeah, that's right. I rock it on the jam. Mr. Breakfast in the house. Say what's up, Graham. And Mark Valadares, rhymes I carry. Baba Brinkman coming with those tales of Canterbury. I get my groove on. Plus, I gotta say, shout out to Jay St. Benny. Chilling up in Tucson or Europe, up in North Carolina. Baba Brinkman freestyling on the scorching rhymer. I just do this all day. What's up to Santa Fe plus Germany? Sasha, I got that rap stuff. Yes, indeed. Mary Ann from Vancouver, BC. That's where I come from. Can't you see? I went to Westminster High School. Then to East Van. This is how I'm rocking on the beach, man. Goddamn. Hello, Nancy. Up in Las Vegas. This is just me. Some freestyles I'm saying off the top of my dome just to show you that I got flows. Peace to Eugene John, who's watching from Los Altos. I see Jenny Rhyming. I'm coming with the rhyming. Did I say rhyming?
Los Altos.
Jenny Simon. Hello, Jenny. Thank you for your private message. I'm gonna have to just spit it right now. And with no effort either, because I meditated.
He's on drugs.
Big up and Graham. Yes, this is how we do this. I'm coming through right now. Rhymes I never fail. I got that brain like a whale. Peace out to Sunnyvale, California. That place is starting to warm up. The Pacific Northwest, yes. Thoughts form up in my brain and disappear. Just straight up flowing. This is how I do it, Matthew George. I make commotion up in the brain. Yeah, that's how I do it with that hip hop music. Come on, it's all newness. These are some rhymes and improv I never write. So welcome to my show. It's called Consciousness Tonight. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it is the last day of the Tucson Science of Consciousness Conference. What a week, what a week. Thank you all for tuning in.
So I have a special guest that I'll be interviewing very soon here on Consciousness Tonight. But first, I would like to kick a little rap for you guys. So I'm not sure if you know the protocol that me and Stuart set up here. We did this for the first time in 2014 in Tucson and again in 2016. And the challenge is this: listen to every. Take notes on them all and write an original rap song really fast that I have ready to perform at the end of each day. So for those of you that are tuning in, I have done this every
Pretty
day,
amazing.
and I have a brand new one tonight. But since tonight's show is a 2-hour show, and lots of people did not tune in to freaking tonight because they went to sleep, I decided to rock my 5 days of wrap-ups. Interspersed with the various poetry tonight. So I lane the 5-day memory lane hole. So I'm gonna drop the first rap from the first day right now, and then I'm gonna interview my first special guest. We'll do a little rap game for you guys on that as well. All right, here we go. Day 4, day 3, day 2, day 1. And all right, here we go. So this was like the psychedelic,
Let's see if
the
he
workshops
mentions us.
all day, and then the psychedelic symposium next. Yeah. You guys watching? I was watching. No, come on. Yeah, life is like an effort. The way I like to tell it, connecting through chemistry, symposium psychedelic. Even over Zoom, we are socially vibrated, and from home, no one can tell that your pupils were dilated. Whoa, my ego annihilated. It's feeling violated. We're walking the path, but in the 60s, Andrew Wild paved it. My basic narrative is peeling away. Extreme belief modulation relieves pain. Melody A's. I listen all day to the work.
There we go.
Freaking amazing. From mycelium to AI to anesthesia oscillation to
speaker in there.
research beam ratings, penetration. When I woke up this morning, I swear I was clean shaven. Like Rip Van Winkle, hallucinations get triggered. Like white neighbors escaping from Dr. Debbie Flicking, or who's a pioneer diversifying her neighborhood balance. The only buy P.e.a.c.e on the whole social justice panel. I'm assuming from the skin pigments in the room, one of y'all could have been passing just like Jessica Green. Please forgive the naive rapper for a bit of obnoxiousness. I'm just trying to tackle the issues and raise my critical consciousness. Diversify the voices, too much monochrome is poisonous. As a white rapper, I could just quit, or I could try to make mindful choices and stay the course on the path psychedelically endorsed, because character makes a difference. Just take it from Steven Schwartz. This planet is off balance. The orcas are all splashing. If you want good shrooms, you gotta get them from Paul Stamets. Big announcement tomorrow. You should watch him closely, and you can sign up for his app if you're into micro-dosing. Micro-dose me. Come on, Terrence Dennis McKenna. I got the curiosity to just boost my antenna and get centered. I bought your home psilocybin kit, but all I got was mold from it. It's cool though, I was a kid, just trying to be adventurous, better than drinking Drano, dancing on the verge of psychosis with Francisco Moreno and Katya Ehrman. So what's the evidence base for treating bad trip trauma with psychedelics today? I had bad trips, what happened to my cells? Mark Rasnick, no psychedelics ever distracted me like your mustache did. I try to stay reflective if my mental state is reckless, just an empty vessel for signal one signals with aided frex of fantastic fungi, a hardcore nerd for the science and the practical visuals. Louis Schwartzberg, yeah, my flow is falling. I'm cool flowing with cool dole and octopus, tripping balls, gotta go. Oprah's calling and psychedelics are disruptive too. Ask Julie Holland, pharmacological journalism with Michael Pollan. I need a new pronoun for I, because I no longer exist. It's the age of new pronouns. Just add it to the list. I'm extinguished and I'm missing in a computer, following my inner path. Luis Eduardo Luna, I'm in tune with the frequency that's biologically based, like Gregory Scholes in a photosynthetic phase. Pietro Perconti had a break. I'm endorsing him. Robinson Crusoe wasn't conscious, so we probably could have tortured him. Raised by wolves to transform. I had to storm. What happened to your mediums when they underperform? I'm no norm. Try to keep the psychic connection memory. Instead of psychic, you get distorted by performance anxiety. This book is one of professional entanglement stage, like Roger Penrose and Fume, labeled with the rat's name like baby, come on, really, what's the takeaway except for take psychedelics and that's it. No more to say no. Take them places, let your complacency break up. Like Vivian Chandler watching anesthetic patients wake up. I'm trying to balance my dome and break into consciousness studies like I'm Leslie Allen. With non-local path, I'm just running my lyrics, cause if you want consciousness, you have to study something different. I studied rhyme, I'm just trying to be a better lyricist. As a youth, I was entangled with entheogenic medicine, like Rajneesh kinda did, psilocybin and cannabis, a typical Gen Xer that came out of Canada. West Coast, my brain waves got exposed. I'm glad to know my brain is nobody instead of just code. So before my quantum microtubulin explodes, this is day one, Stewart, so come on, let's go. This life is epic, baby, the way I like to tell it. We're connecting through chemistry. It's symposium, psychedelics, and even over Zoom, my things socially vibrating, plus from home. No one can tell it, just people who got it. Whoa, my ego got annihilated. It's feeling violated. Just rocking the path in the 60s as a wild basic. My entire basic narrative is feeling red. Extreme belief modulation relieves pain. Melody haze. And that was only the first day. All right. Okay, I hope you guys are having a blast tonight. We're about to bring a whole bunch of guests on. And the first guest is going to be, of course, the man, Stuart Hammeroff. Welcome into Zoom if you're here. Say hi to the people, Stuart.
See ya. Great job. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back in this experimental COVID era. Consciousness rapping. So you did your talk today. I enjoyed it very much. I understood a reasonable percentage of what you talked about, and I thought I wanted to take a crack at it. So we're going to do a little game together at the end of this. But first, let me just ask you, like, how do you feel like the 5 days have gone compared to the several decades of knowing what a consciousness conference feels like? How does this feel?
Well, it feels good at this point because I've switched to beer mode, for example. And we're on the tail end, and it's gone real well. You know, we had no idea what we were doing. We were kind of making it, but it worked. I pushed our people, Commotion Studios, Abby and Jay and everybody, probably more because I didn't know what I was doing, but it all worked, and here we are. So, and you made a great contribution. All the talks were super, I thought, and we spent a lot of discussion, a lot of chat, and a lot of ongoing stuff. We're going to keep the chat lines open. People can keep chatting away and develop little communities, whatever, and we'll reassemble next time, whatever that is.
Yeah, hopefully next year and the year after that in some form or another.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been interesting, this being my third one, seeing some of the sort of fluctuating thematics year to year. And I feel like this was the psychedelic conference compared to previous ones. Was that by design, or was that a lot of people submitting really interesting proposals that you were like, okay, let's just roll with this?
It was kind of by design because when we were planning the conference, actually the April conference, so way back the beginning of the year, there's just been a whole lot of stuff about psychedelics and therapy. You know, being used clinically, medically, in you know, establishment centers, including our own University of Arizona, but everywhere. And Johns Hopkins has always been a leader. Robin Carhart Harris was there. Now he's in the UK. But other it's spreading out all over the place. Clinical trials of various psychedelics for various diseases with a common endpoint of feeling good and equilibrating. So it was definitely a hot topic going in, and so we just kept it. And so we had, the symposium and 2 plenaries, and that's quite a big chunk of the conference. But there's so much to talk about. Like the experience of what it's like. What and how do we explain that? What does it do in the brain to cause you to have this expanded consciousness? And what can it do for us clinically? And what entities, how should it be used, and are there any dangers? So all that needed to be discussed, and it got discussed. So I think that went pretty well.
Do you see the potential for, once the entire decriminalized nature movement has succeeded, there being a truly experiential chapter in the conference where we all in a room for a few hours and then do the science lectures after, or during?
We'll see. That'd be nice. I'm still practicing medicine. I got to be kind of careful about things. But yeah, something like that would be really cool.
Well, as a rapper, I have no such bounds or restrictions. For me, my interaction with psychedelics was mostly exploratory and mystical, and expanding my horizons of consciousness. But biographical disclosure, I cut them out when I started rapping. So I haven't done psychedelics for many years at this point, even though I did them all the time up until my mid-20s. And the main reason was that the context in which you will take LSD or take mushrooms or take DMT or mescaline or MDMA, it pretty much went down the list. But somebody might ask you to rap. Somebody might be like, "Oh, I heard you're a rapper. Let's hear what you got." And I had some really embarrassing, like at a party, too high to rap moments. And then I look back and be like, I just gotta be ready whenever someone asks me, and that means there's really almost no context in which I can be high.
You got I think a lot of people in this field, kind of started out that way. And I went to college in the '60s, and things happen, and those people, it stays with you. Like, what the hell? Why did it? Makes you think about the brain-mind problem, even if you don't do it anymore. But so it's ingrained, and I remember chairing a concurrent on psychedelics about probably eight years ago, and I think I was probably the only one in the room who wasn't tripping for that one, and the floor carpet was moving, and from everybody else. Just kidding, but
well, the past few days have made me think maybe it's time to re-engage, but just got to make sure that nobody asks me to rap in the exact wrong moment. Okay, so let me also ask you about your talk today, because I jumped over a few things, and we're going to do an abridged version of it tonight, but was there anything that you didn't get to in your time slot that you feel was a really sort of key point that you'd like to add in?
No, go figure that, I had too many slides, and when Jordan, I skipped over the stuff that I talked about in the past about how anesthesia works, and the particular study we did showing that anesthetics in computer modeling study inhibit or dampen these terahertz oscillations in tubulin, the computer at least, and proportional to the potency of the anesthetics. And that's a big criterion. We want to do that study live in biology with microtubules doing two-dimensional electron spectroscopy. By we, I mean people who know how to do that, in the Greg Scholes, Jack Kuczynski, and others, and Bruce McIver will be doing the anesthesia aspect, because we can demonstrate this quantum interference in the microtubule, which we say we need for consciousness in the OR model, and then we expose it to anesthesia, and it goes away. And if we give another anesthetic that's twice as potent, and we need half as much, and we do a series of them, and get a dose response curve that shows that the inhibition of the microtubule quantum interference is proportional to the potency of the anesthetic and putting you or I or a dog or a flea or anything to sleep. Then I think we have a good claim of quantum vibrations and microtubules at least being the best neurocorrelative consciousness, because there's no other.
If we organize to host a dance after party, Halo themed,
Yeah, we hope to
we'll do that next time.
We're going to be starting that in January, and in 2 years we could be falsified. The next conference I may be out of theory, and ORC may be gone. Rogers OR may still be going, because that's not being tested, but it's possible we'll be falsified. I think any good theory needs to be falsified. I think we have a very good theory. That doesn't mean it's right, and we're gonna put our money where our mouths are and
ignore all other theories.
So, I think everyone respects that move. That whether they're with the theory or not, there's nothing but accolades for taking that approach.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It is kind of crazy, actually.
I remember at a few years ago, you were talking about the funding difference between different theories of consciousness, and how like Max Tegmark got $1 billion and nobody wanted to pay for the OR study. So what kind of difference does having a Templeton on the scene make for adjudicating?
Templeton's been very good, very fair, and we tried to have a adversarial collaboration with Christoph and Julio. It didn't work out. I don't frankly know how to falsify IIT, and I don't think they do either. And I wanted to attempt to falsify OR by documenting the quantum vibrations and then see if they go away with anesthesia. And I told Christoph and Julia, I said, well, that would show that we have a valid neurocorrelative consciousness at a subcellular level with quantum, and therefore IIT would be falsified. And they say, no, IIT could account for quantum vibrations in microtubules. I go, how? And they say, well, I said, okay, so we put it in that if we show this, then then we'll see which explains it better, our approach or Phi and IIT, and at that point they fail. So they're not in the study. We just got to find them to do the experiments and then see what happens with anesthesia and hopefully psychedelics also, because I would predict that the psychedelics would increase the frequency of the oscillations, because I think that's what happens in psychedelics. And if that works, then I think we haven't proved the OR part yet. That's a separate thing, but we will, I think, be able to justifiably claim the best neural correlate of consciousness yet produced. In fact, the intraneural correlate of consciousness. The problem is nobody even considers the intraneural correlate of consciousness. So I think they're starting with a bad premise and need to look inside into more of a multi-scale hierarchy system. The EEG session today was really good, and I think it was Paul Nunez was talking about multi-scale hierarchies producing EEG, and I think the same holds true for consciousness.
You just need an EEG that can read a city.
Read a city?
Yeah, because he was saying it scales up, right? Microtubules to neurons to populations of people, to the universe, right?
But you got to scale down inside the neuron. That's a mistake people make. They think the neuron is the fundamental unit of cognition, consciousness, brain, and everything, and it can't be. If you think about it, a lot of
Sasha just sent me a friend request.
I'm going to go off on my rant again.
Oh, the moderator.
Let me go off on it for you.
Okay.
So we pioneered something brand new at this conference. I had never done it before, but Don Hoffman and I tried it out on Monday. It was a lot of fun. So we're going to do it together now. It's a new concept called a talk rap. So I asked Stuart to prepare an abridged version of his talk. I'll get you to share your slides. You've got about 30 or so.
I've done something.
I didn't abridge it yet.
I took a long article written by a musician.
You just want to wrap the parts I had to skip over,
and I turned it into a poem.
No, I think the challenge for me is try to make sense of everything you show. So, if you just regularly jump a slide every few seconds, I'll do my best to keep up. Or if you want to hop ahead using, is there a scroller where you can jump a few at a time and just pick the next one you want to show me?
No, it's not the way I have it set up here.
Sometimes there's a display option.
I can do slides, so I'll just do it as you wrap and see what happens. If that's
okay. However, I'm going to just take 3 minutes and try to react to everything you show me, and it's your choice when to advance and when not to. Okay?
Okay.
All right, check it out. I'm gonna have to demonstrate the best thing. Word OR will be subject to testing, falsifiable. That means that you can be overturned, and that's not gonna happen to other theories. They'll get burned. Yes, indeed. You hear me clearly. Word OR is the most testable theory. I'm not gonna tell you what to advance. You're choosing when to advance, whenever you feel like it. All right, yeah, check it out. It's integrated. I'm gonna have to show you how Work OR is dedicated as far as that's the Hodgkin Huxley thesis, but I can tell you it breaks down into a bunch of smaller pieces. It can't be right. Integrate and fire because even and wires, it just aggregates, correlates, you see how it just integrates all of those neurons come together in membranes, but you gotta move down the level. Look, the ego happening here. No, it's gotta be smaller. Can't you even hear the music? I'm gonna find that down in the microtubule like clouds and the kinnis and the diamond and the tau. Yeah, that's how people bring it around. And show you how it decoheres. All the microtubules are falling apart up in here with those plaques. I got the wraps, yes, it's all white and black. You can see it moving up and down in the attack. LTP, it's always affecting the memory. Am I right? I don't know what it's up in the dendrites, so don't say axons. Yes, check it out. I can bring it on. You know it's gotta be profound because it's made out of hexagon. Just like a bunch of beeswax up in the synapse. The neuronal computational map collapses. I mean, come on. I'm gonna take you to heaven. Not to the 60, baby, it's 10 to the 27. I got extra numbers. That means I'm a math hero. Check it out, 4OR, bringing the extra zeros. Where's the consciousness though? Where is the dream? I mean, I don't theories explaining anything. Not the AI singularity. I could take the flow, but the emperor's new mindset is not computational. Check it, I'm coming to nothing but the big flows. So I'm about to link up with Mr. Roger Penrose. Yes, I'm bringing it now with that musical rhythm. I got the orchestration, he's got the superposition, the objective reduction. Yeah, I'm bringing the rap, and that's the way that there's currently a murder of a cat with a little neutron breaking a glass bottle of poison. Yeah, that's right, that's how we're bringing the superposition noise in. We brought it together, yeah, it's all collapsing, and that is the place that the freaking being is happening. I'm bringing the word, Father Brinkman, everything I sing is absurd. Yeah, that's because the universe, space-time curves, and when it curves, that's the spot where it collapses. See, general relativity is what we could adapt with. We got these curvatures in space-time, I just made rhymes. See, that all this could happen at the same time, and when it collapses, that's where that being happens. See, no other thesis could be adapted to the degree that the multiverse works. Just the which I can tell you about how this works in about 20 words, but wait a second, the being, that's subjective. See, can't you even see it happens in less than 1 second. That is instant in time. It's the collapse that is happening every second in your mind. It's the fling, it's the objective reduction, that's the function. My theory contains zero assumptions. The time equals the h divided by eg. I could make this whole theory seem so easy. Yeah, I mean, come on, don't ask me what's next. Just tell me that without this, it would lack wisdom. Can't you even know how that's a subjective system? Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it easily on this beat. Everything that happens is vibrations in organic chemistry. Yeah, that's right, that's right. I rock the mic. Don't you know that Penrose is a knight? That's why they call him Sir. Hip hop, I'm straight rocking this. Yeah, my molecule is in a robbery. All right, that was my best attempt to wrap your talk. Okay, brought some new insight to the table.
Hey, thank you. Next time, I can give it.
Yeah, well, just feel free to put some rattles on your slides next time. Straight out of the lyrics. Thank you so much, Stuart, for joining us.
All right, thank you, Mama.
Wave to the people, everybody's watching us.
You got it, everybody. Thanks,
everyone in the chat. Thank you.
See you next time.
Together. Thank you, Stuart. I'll see you soon. Whoa, that is a really hard challenge. My microtubules are firing really fast right now. Okay, so we got we have some special guests joining us tonight. So next up, we're going to have another live guest. We have Amanda Gregory, who is a trained opera singer and performer, and she does. She wrote me a whole email with deep descriptions of everything she does, but I don't have that email in front of me anymore. So Amanda, I'm going to let you. We'll have a little discussion. Can we get Amanda to come join? Is she in? Hi, Amanda. How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Doing well. Nice to meet you too.
I did my best to improvise from memory the description of your work that you put in the email, but I think it fell way short. So can you tell people a little bit about what you do?
Yes. So I'll just start by saying I programmed everything just now, like hours before this, to try and do something in 3 minutes that synthesizes what I'm coming to understand about vibrational resonance and the oscillations and patterns within patterns. And so I basically am going to sing into this controller, and then if you wear headphones, you will experience psychoacoustic effects such as EMDR and binaural frequencies. Potentially. I mean, I really programmed it so recently that, it's going to be more of an experiment. So it's also that there's novel moments where I have no idea what's going to happen, and neither do you, and we're just going to see how it goes. So we're programmed into this experience.
This is not a written or rehearsed or prepared piece. This is the subjective and creative responses produced by the ideas in the conference.
Yeah, it's basically my attempt to integrate that information for myself and just sort of feel into it and have the sound be more of a metaphor and the different rhythms and frequencies, serve in that way. Anyway, I'm a little bit nervous, I have to admit. So most of it's going to be me just moving through my emotions as my core. And so that's, if I invite you to have any kind of context for this experience, it would be just to feel everything that you feel. Take deep breaths, and let's see what happens.
I'm totally feeling with you right now, and my creative process is also largely driven by panic. But when I sign up to do a rap at the end of each night, I like try to start writing it 4 hours in advance, and I'm like, I don't have anything to say. But when 2 hours till showtime comes, I'm like, quick! And I feel like there's something about that like extreme nervousness energy that just gets all the brain cells in fight or flight, and great creativity produced that way. So I was so excited when you wrote to me and said, I'm going to do something improvised, because I think that's pinnacle. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Well, the other step is going to be to make sure that the audio works through Ableton Live. So, because this is all been together pretty fast. So shall we test?
All right, let's get a bit of a sound coming out of it before I hand it over completely.
Got it. So I would need to share sound from my computer. Ready? There we go.
I like how you're labeled as my name as well, so we are one.
Thanks. Sorry, I just had like a sudden thing where that's right, that's my hand, where my controller is just rebooting for a second.
We're watching the live stream.
Here we go. So
What kind of controller is it?
it is an Ableton Live, it's an A.P.e.a.c.E. Do you hear that?
I've only got vocals, not effects.
Thank you.
Doing a version of what we were talking about with doing this with brainwaves.
I think I'm going to have to get some inside notes from you after this. Tell me about some of these effects, and I can see what they sound like on that. Okay, I'm going to step out. I will be muting my audio and video, and I'm going to enjoy the show just like everyone else.
Okay. Do I still have 3 minutes?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to yank the plug on you if you go over, but
Setting a timer.
you like yourself and also Darth Vader.
Here we go.
Nothing's just sounding.
Can you turn that down a little bit? Good. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. We're adding to it.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. My honor.
This will be on the conference archive for everybody to check out right now. Thank you, Amanda. I'm going to move on to some poetry snipe material.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
All right, so we have a whole bunch of submissions of people that write videos, and I have not seen all of them. I have a list, so let's see right now. So for the first one, share my screen and show you.
You guys are not doing live.
You want to turn that down a little?
Share this.
I guess we'll see.
He's going to show you a poem submitted by Dan and Karen. There we go. Hopefully you can hear that.
Oh, hello, my name is Dan McCarran. I have a poster here at the conference as well, entitled Looking Beyond the Limits of Physics. I hope you have a chance to check it out. And the title of my poem today is Bat. Bat, bat, bat. Incoming bat. This is not a drill.
This is not a poem.
Bat. Hi, bat. I hear your faces. You see me. It's subjective, but the same. We are the other to our own other. Connected, but separate. Distinct, yet entangled. Like particles in a quantum enigma. Some physicists may approve,
Most will not.
Some philosophers be dismayed. Some physicists dismayed. Some philosophers may approve. It's an entangled enigma. Bye-bye.
That was Dan Aaron. And when I saw that video, which I did preview, it made me remember this thing, which I want to show you guys now. Some real bats. Check it out. That's a photo. I think I was like 18, and there was this house in Costa Rica that was full of bats. We could see them all roosting on the roof. So I was like, here, stand here, hold the camera, and take a picture. I'm gonna run into this house full of bats and like wave my arms around and shout and see what happens. And they busted off the roof like crazy and flew down, and one of them got right in front of the camera, and there's another one that I'm ducking. This is me in Costa Rica, I'm like 20, so I don't know if I was thinking about what it's like to be a bat at the time, but that was funny, so I showed you guys. Okay,
And
so
that's
Dan,
Thomas Nagel, What It's Like to Be a Bat. It's a famous consciousness work from the 70s.
Oh, hello, my name is Dan McCarran.
I'm an ad, that's not a different one, it's the same one. Okay, so now we have a poem from Crystal Jewel.
Crystal Jewel.
Hi, my name is Crystal Jewel, and this is my first Poetry Slam submission. The title of this poem is called Sweet William, and it's essentially a personification of the wildflower that grows in the spring called Sweet William. So here it is. My darling, Sweet William, curled up by the creek, bellowing to the rhythm of the penniless boy's feet, washing and waiting by your blossoming blue eyes, quietly caroling to a lover's lullabies. Ephemeral and beautiful, it's true, nothing lasts. Faded fragrance, wilted petals, your allure will too pass. Spring will turn summer, summer will turn fall. Soon you'll be a memory like you weren't here at all. Until then, you'll be admired. Lingering thoughts will transcend. Life is in abundance. Beneath the trees we'll befriend. My darling, Sweet William, our paths will cross again at the cottonwood by the creek, humming tunes till day's end. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hi. I hope you're here watching as well. And I see there's a second one as well, so I'm going to play both of yours right now.
Hi again, my name is Crystal Jewel, and this is my second Poetry Slam submission titled Ode to Red Lipstick on a Wine Glass, which I wrote in community college during my poetry writing class, which really ignited my passion for poetry. How to summarize this? Basically, this is about the many different faces that alcohol holds in our minds depending on who you ask. It can be good, it can be used recreationally, it can be spiritually, it can be classy, or it could be evil. It can be abused. It can be a sin to drink. So this is a compilation of all of the different perceptions of alcohol, specifically wine. Here it goes. Splendor of a scarlet rose, attached to a letter from a forgotten lover, fretting over their loss. Your poison's so sweet.
We can turn off our YouTube, right?
Outcome ever bitter.
Yeah.
Even so, you're assertively
I
offered,
don't think anybody's watching.
arrogantly accepted.
We could just keep it.
You've been kissed by the drunks, the prosperous. Even the holy find an excuse to choke down your contents.
I'm still
Filled with
thinking there's a
innocence,
1% chance it's
drained
gonna
with
happen.
recklessness, forsaken with a crimson smear, staining your purity, clouding your clarity. Obscurity, mistaken for lucidity. Intended to be tasteful, you become tacky, harnished with more worthy makeup. Corruptions poured down the pipes, your sins washed away. A prayer of repentance.
You checked your spam folder and everything,
with a
right?
hint of dissent.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal, for your submissions. Very, very beautiful. I study literature myself, so I have a taste for symbolic poetry, but I migrated into rap and turned into a sledgehammer wielder. So I'm gonna do another rap at this point. Here comes my my day 2 wrap up. For those of you who are not tuned in, bust this. I'm gonna do some more pieces from this one. There we go. This is a lot of psychedelic content on day 2. Yeah. Here we go. Enter the 9th dimension of a twisted invention, psychedelic solutions, consciousness, and time perception. Welcome to my latest fleeting Buddhist rhyme collection, created and destroyed in a moment of blind aggression at my discretion. A sequence of conscious images. Take a moment to listen and savor the constant presence, a series of thoughts connected, lost and recollected temporal sequence. It's got no meaning in modern physics, no past, no future. Let the minutes flow mentally. Did Carlo Rovelli speak this morning or last century? I can't tell. And in the passage of time, subjectively, agency creates information from low entropy. That's what Carlos said. I remember his exhortation to treat meaning as Darwinian relevant information. So when I tuck my kids into bed, I say, sweet dreams, my darling survival machines, little vessels for my genes. And when they say, I love you, Daddy, I say,
Budkey, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, says, love the lights. Thank you very much. We worked very hard on this exact configuration.
Dreaming unrendered dreams, according to Keith Frankish. I know this isn't a bedtime story that you kids have mastered, but one day you too will be dropping hits of universal acid and see the Darwin logic in the case of consciousness, the illusory nature of the phenomenological process. No double transducer, no user, just a computer that follows the logic of fitness, just a stimulus chooser. Don't tell me your senses need proof, kids. You're in preschool, just done Hoffman. Yeah, fitness beats truth. You know that game on the iPad that you kids think is cool? Well, that iPad is your brain, and the interface is you. And when you fall asleep and scrape your knee, I go get a Band-Aid. That pain is how you track your... That pain how you track your place on a fitness landscape in a virtual reality game, kids. Can you even follow me? Or did you just drift into quasi-phenomenology? I mean, that's why when you ask for ice cream, I have to be dismissive, because it's not really sweet. Those are just reactive dispositions. But you're really sweet, my naive little child hominids that evolution wires me to love more than any other kids, predispersal mammals in your postnatal environment like mice in a Gould-Dolan experimental life event. Okay, let's play make-believe castles and princesses. I just like watching your faces with all the synaptogenesis. You kids are so creative. The plasticity is explicit. Me, I'm practically dead inside. Maturation of inhibitions. But I still feel the patience to dwell inside imaginations. Even if I'm of an age, one step from demyelination. There's no hope for me, kids. Just calcified hibernation until I become a clinical psilocybin patient. Or take some therapeutic Molly at low doses, oxytocin. In a cuddle puddle, feeling pro-social. It's so hopeful, kids. You can play the Beanie Babies, and I'll play the entheogenic mystical meaning making. And not just because I like tripping either. It's neurogenesis. What a coincidence. Fun times and therapeutic benefits. I'll just dwell in this moment and trip and look into it later. Hooked up the EEG by Christopher Timmerman Slater. Smoking DMT, frontal-parietal network dissolving. Nothing left but interoceptive microphenomenology. Ego dissolution, immersed in alternative space. Predictive coding the universe in a forward-traveling way. Ask my sacrifice, experiencing a past life. Is it magic? That's right.
Say hi.
This is not a life that's going to be left unexamined.
Got SB on camera for a second.
A wild guy strongly disinclined to property crime after ingesting psilocybin while I so many times decriminalized nature. I'm in a better mood every minute after picking mushrooms outside the office of Newt Gingrich. Nature's got a sense of humor. It's infinite. It's influence that's going to spread like mycelia once my COVID trial commences. The double-blind test to check whether it works or fails. Donald Trump's next miracle cure, turkey tails instead of hydroxychloroquine or the blood of a convalescent plus bonus. It's anti-COVID and an antidepressant. Conscious realism. Yeah, John Hopkins, I feel different. But the primary datum if everyone wants it, or maybe it's all molecules down at the ground level, all an illusion, except whatever's found in a physical signal. I'm just bringing the lyrical info. I'm spinning it into words, but I was not the only one today with the scientific verse. I think that I shall never see a protein lovelier than a G. Mark Rasnick with the molecular poetry hit that G-spot protein signaling pathway. I'm talking plasma membrane, delimited GSA. The ladies were transfixed by Mark Rasnick's face, hanging on his every phrase. Dash data, even the chat got a bit frustrated. I have to say, one lady was like,
Baba and Stuart, I am so pissed off at you for putting this crap in.
this getting all explicit. I'm talking invaginated membrane phospholipids, of course. Plus, I can send Stuart to him in as soon as Mark referenced that accelerated tubulin, psychedelic antidepressants in the past. In Stuart's brain binding GSA in the
Was that Abby's comment?
transmitter signal mutilation visitation.
Because I know Abby said
deep mutilation, my internalized gas fluorescent visual
this was not
psychedelic patterning after photo bleaching. What's happening? Is it just a massive deception, or am I having a backwards projected time perception after ingesting ayahuasca with the
I wish I could download. That was great. What the fuck?
Well, I can see what she's saying now. That there's talent in the event that people are paying for to be part of this. And she's just a pretty girl who got a favor. That's what it looks like to me, just based on that. She wasn't part of it, she wasn't in it. So what that did was took away from people like us and other, like there were other musicians that actually were part of the program. Right. She wasn't.
Oh, I see. Saying she was not part of the program, meaning she was not part of
TSC. They slipped her in at the end because she's sucking some dude off.
Yeah, got it. Okay, that's totally. All right, I'll upvote that. Well,
I don't know about that, but she's probably connected to somebody that's part of this thing.
Right.
So they did her a favor and slid her in.
A couple of poems by Karen Coolidge. Let me just drop this screen share right now.
We could still connect with her. I wouldn't put that on her.
I would not put it on her. But I could understand Abby if that's the thing.
Right.
Because that's probably somebody Abby had to say no to and has been working this whole time, assuming she wasn't going to be a part of it.
Right.
And then she went around.
Hello, everyone.
So it could have been,
Karen
you could have put that on
Kohler,
her where Abby told her no, and she said, well, Abby don't want you, so I'm going to go around.
with two
And that, and
poems that I'm
Abby didn't
delighted
know until the last minute. Yeah, fuck
to
that.
the Poetry Slam of the Science of Consciousness Conference of 2020, sponsored by the University of Arizona at Tucson, which is.
It's like, can you imagine if they don't even show our poem?
I am a.
But they have a live performance for somebody who's not.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up.
The first one is called The Veil, and that is followed by a poem called In Recognition, and I chose both of them, keeping with the theme of consciousness.
We did ask for an interview, and he did say he wanted to. So
first we have The Veil.
and Stuart. I guess it's both of them that are hosting the thing.
Everywhere I sense the veil, my eyes conceal the view. I probe then only with my heart until I know I'm through. The veil resists my bold, clean probe, casts life and death apart. So voice and brush and pen take I, and pry it with my art. In Recognition appears in my first.
Baba interviewed his dad the first night. Was he part of the program?
It came out last year.
No.
No, they didn't get pissed at that.
Maybe Baba's dad wasn't told no, and it wasn't a performance.
Right.
I entered the garden of myself and met a rosebud face to face. I followed the stones to the temple door, uneven, firm, and familiar.
I guess, yeah,
And
if you're doing a
heard a bird sing
performance
to me its
that
song.
there is only a certain amount of, what would you call
I
it?
crossed the threshold and climbed the stair, and at the altar of myself,
I've actually had
for the one who
curated a
waited
show
there.
once.
Her shadow
This
long
girl
and
shows up
broad.
and she wants to, she was painting me.
myself
I
in.
told her to do something and she did a completely different thing, and I was the curator.
And
she's
to her
like, well, I'm
outstretched
friends with
hand,
the
I
owner.
placed my chair
I'm like, it's my show,
aside.
right?
As the light came through openings everywhere,
there was a $35
and the rest
admission
of me
fee,
stood
right?
watching.
And
One
when
semblance from every hue.
somebody that wasn't me,
So
was,
49.
there was a treasurer's job was to go around and make sure everybody pays before the show starts.
All are
and he walks
here.
by me and I was like, this is the
I heard
potential
myself
starter.
sitting
What she's going to
say.
do is you're going to walk up to her and ask her money. She's
With
gonna
that,
go,
I rose
I'm
and left
friend
the
of
way
Karen.
I'd
She
come.
invited me. I didn't know I had to
As
pay.
the bud closed
I
its
guarantee
eyes
she's
to
gonna do
me,
that.
and the bird took
So what
back
does she
its
do?
song.
That very thing.
And the cells
So she
of
could
my
be that type of
ears
person.
watched me go.
Right.
One number more.
It could be a lot.
was
It's obviously a
full
lot more we don't know.
Yeah.
Recognition.
But that's your guess.
Yeah, based on Abby's, I would probably jump into that. Yeah.
So maybe we don't connect with her.
Thank you. All right.
Because that's the kind of thing, you wouldn't know someone is that type of person until you really know them.
Yeah. Until they do something like that.
Right, right.
I crave reason to the very essence of my being. I clench my fists into its drifting majestic dunes and hold countless morsels aloft. Above my head, I raise my arm victorious. I soar into the ether. Its timeless notes drowning my tears, but as I sink, I begin to choke. I pray that my hand will stay above the searching tentacles, only for them to prise my fingers apart with infinite ease.
What?
Oh, to redeem one tiny grain to timeless existence.
Thank you, Mark, for putting that through. So we're going to
On
take a look
here.
at the Sapiens video
Sorry.
right now.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Here.
Well, I just said
I might not be able to play the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I should. I knew that was live.
So
Maybe
the
that's all right.
Sapiens is a group of neuroscientists
Should I
in
end the stream?
Tucson, Arizona. That play music. So this is from the
Okay. Oops.
Stand by my words.
Fair enough.
Sapiens. That's funny. Recorded in the Times.
Yeah.
Love the brain. Just love the brain. And I don't care if it sounds insane, cause I love the brain. I love the mind. I think about it all the time. I try to use it to be kind, cause I love the mind. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I love my brain. And I love mine. Love this me. All the ways that I can be. My best is light and bold and free. Yeah, so I love this me. Love the brain. I just love the brain. Anything else just seems so lame. So I love the brain. Ooh, I love mine. Ooh, I love the rain. Oh, I love me. I love the rain. Love the rain. And I don't care if it sounds insane, cause I love the brain. Yeah.
Woo! All right, we have we have a ton of submissions, so I'm just leave the savings to just one song for now, and we'll see how we land at the end with time. So I have a couple here, or maybe just one by Sky Nelson. So here comes Sky Nelson, Rise. Hey, this is Nelson. I'm gonna play you a song that I wrote probably 10 years ago.
Actually,
called Temperature
kind of
Rise
did
and
just
Fall.
happen.
And this song spoke to
We
me.
asked for a live
the
performance.
journey of awakening,
part of it,
becoming
and
more
they said
aware
no.
of what's going on inside of myself while
And they gave it to
watching
somebody
climate change.
who didn't have anything in the conference.
Overwhelming
That could have been
nature
our
of
3
that
minutes.
dilemma.
It could have been our 3
What it
minutes
causes
in front of Halo.
inside
Yeah.
us, that sort of disconnect and challenge of being alive right now. So this is based off an event that happened in the news about 10 years ago,
Stuart
where a
said
huge sheet of ice about the size of Rhode Island.
Right, and Stuart clearly said no to that, but yes to that.
We all were like, wow, this is happening much faster than we thought. So that comes into this. Here you go. Temperature rise and fall.
You got that email from me, that probably did it too. If you saw that email that I wrote him, you probably looked at that and was like, I don't want to live.
She asked me, how can we become the one we want us to become? When the barriers are rooted in, my vote is just another leaf on a surely dying tree. I'd rather just hide myself so no one knows about me. And I try with all my might to make sense of it all.
Can I have another one of those knobs?
When a giant Arctic sheet collapse is possible. Temperature rise and fall. Our world may be warming, but I can't tell that from here.
I should have done a musical selection.
I didn't even realize we had these until the last sort of.
Right.
There's something ever so beautiful about the stops and starts we make, and all the times we thought that we had it made. Looking back and saying, what happened there? Why did nothing change? Where are my younger days? Can't see them in my face. And I try with all my might to make sense of it all. When a giant Arctic sheet collapse is possible. Temperature rise and fall. My world may be warming, but I can't tell that from here. Whoa, impatience gets the best of me. Whoa, a hailstorm of urgency. Oh,
Billy Joel meets
run so fast, the grass can grow beneath my feet. And I try with all my might to make sense of it all. When a giant Arctic sheet collapse is possible. Temperature rise and fall. Our world may be warming, our world may be warming, our world may be warming, but I can't tell that from here. Okay, I saw, thank you so much for that, Sky. Just didn't introduce him with some details. He's a physicist, a musician, and author of the book Living in Flow, Science of Synchronicity and how your choices shape your world.
You said you were talking to him, right?
Oh, I know him, yeah. He said hi in the chat.
What did you? It was about thing you sent Stuart was. But
yeah, I put that question in there. It was that it was kind of what's the purpose of this? I sent people out.
Right.
And I sent these messages, and then I said we met with some artists or some scientists who said they weren't interested in working.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
And so, like, what the fuck?
I remember that, yeah. Something of yours, potentially it won't show. I'm not sure. I can't really get to my email at this point to write to people, but I think I will now do another wrap because we have several more, and I have a couple more as well. So this is going to be the day 3 summary. And anybody missed it on Wednesday night, we'll rock it right now.
He's repeating stuff? Why don't we just pull this up on a phone and leave?
Day 3 and I'm feeling that resonance, ultrasound, ego lost and found, psychedelically drowned and resurrected in a house of pain. So jump around like signals on an encephalo. Resurrected in a house of pain, so jump around like signals on an electroencephalographic ground. I'm vibrating and resonating up in my consciousness now. I'm feeling so high that I don't want to come down. Signals bounce around.
Yeah, I think this is different.
They pause and pound, and then they cease all together when I come to ground moon down. I need to get that uplift quickly. I get a life up hit from Alexander Bistritsky. That focused ultrasound straight to the dome, low intensity. I mean the blanks, not the way that I feel subjectively. That's how I prove with the track when I'm producing these raps, coupling interface style with the transducer attack like a rabbit in headlights or like epileptic rats. I got my P.e.a.c.E. Innovation Award for hyperactive rats. Scientifically, I explicitly needed accredited exorcist like the doctor of Emperor Claudius treating migraines with a fish. I mean, ancient Rome, baby, yeah, that's 2,000 years ago. Hit me with the shock, I'll get super lyrical and see deep into the harmonic properties of nature, making a cymatic noise like a pseudo-anastoid paper. No other species can match me, peacocking on a hand, not even a pufferfish scratching a sexy pattern in the sand. Man, these are primate phonics, too complex for robotics, produced in my frequency, we can connect going harmonics. When I speak on mics, you can see precisely what my technique is like. Run a violin, go across it, you'll get a pattern of zebra stripes. There's no coincidence. That's the difference psilocybin makes. The probability distribution of my frequency up in higher states via cyberspace. Psychedelics are telescopes, exposing the inner psyche, neurochemical molecular probes. According to Dennis, the menace McKenna, and his kinfolk, the psychedelic revolution is complete. Now that it's info, research institutes popping like mushroom explosions. Each of us has a right to achieve a microbial. Each of us, research institutes popping up like mushroom explosions. Each of us has a right to achieve mythological symbiosis. Now that psychedelics are sprouting away out of the valley, I do not take
is it?
Yeah, I remember that line.
Salvador Dali, the disintegrator of selfhood, as well as the reconnector, is not the same as classical psychosis either. As
I am drugged.
of the doses of calculated for maximum dilation and reconnection of the rest of life, a boundary violation, meta-identification with wider ranges.
I think this is one where he says, I don't take drugs, I am drugs.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Smallpox blankets in exchange for feeding civilization, domestication of corn, potatoes, and dozens of staples, lost wisdom of the ancients. You are one with the caterpillar, the armadillo, and the lily pad as the police acquired silver. Psychedelics allow us to reconnect with animism properly and adopt an interpersonalism subjective methodology and not just philosophically. That can't be where it all stops. We are evolving into epistemological polyglots like Sue Blackmore said in her talk. You're not going insane if you think it is more than the emanations of a poison brain. Even if your DMT hits the liver, nothing but demons. in orange and green vivid colors, rats, tails, and penises, even if you mutter, terrible, 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 when it's frightening and wake up after you go, that wasn't very enlightening. Just lay back again, mask your eyes, baby, vaporize, shrink yourself down to an unfazable size, and realize that the name of the talk was a bunch of stories about some times I did drugs. If you're gonna do autoethnography, do it properly. It's not like a mindful acquisition. It's gonna fall to sonography. Or maybe mindful acquisition will fall to sonography. If it does, then I'll be patient and ready for a neuromodulation hit from Jay Sanguinetti. I'm like, hippie Jay, I want to groove with this music. He's like, okay, we're gonna remove your activation reduce it. And he went, I probably should have made it warm it up, but now I've got a motivation disorder, freaking ethymormia, dysfunction, equanimity. It's tough to unlearn, sitting in pain, but I can't suffer. Blistering sunburn. I'm like, come on, Jay, didn't you test this on Shinzing Young first? Equanimity's great, but motivation has to come first. He must have hit me with two simultaneous ultralight beams. Haven't you seen Ghostbusters? Don't cross the screen. Now I'm disharmonious, like the vibration panel vibe with screen time moderation by Anavan. Glad you had I. He was like, sorry, Jonathan Schooler, finish up your
Jonathan Schooler.
Speed them up, man. Walk the walk. You said shifting between nested windows is effortless, so make that slow pace fast, baby. Harmonic resonance. Jonathan Schooler, pick it up. Damn, emerging info, bringing the nest in the graphic description of all the observer windows. I felt cross-frequency coupling for real. When it was over, there were nested windows behind nested birds, nested on his shoulder. Even Honorbon felt the power, so frenetic he had to shower. But instead he was like, oh look, our session just got extended by half an hour. Hopefully Jonathan has a sense of humor. Was he joking or serious when he said consciousness studies fosters openness to experience, which is necessary for creativity, intellectual humility, and daydreaming, and risk-taking, and metacognitive ability. So let me just say with humility that I'm open and free, and anyone less open needs to try to be just like me. I'm free, feeling the vibe. I can abide like the Big Lebowski, improvise with the Charlie Park Band and Lawrence Bukowski, even over an upbeat death metal rock and roll culture beat, distributed metacognition with material anchors ripping vocally. Shared consciousness is real, baby. I feel the jam, so I got that general resonance up in myself, working damn on when I jam with the band, kicking lyrics and twisted English to form a higher consciousness, but none of us gets extinguished, so I'm stepping up the buzzwords, bring the ketchup and mustard, me and the beat constitute. So I'm stepping up the buzzwords, bring the ketchup and mustard, me and the beat constitute a putatively coupled cluster with maximum synchrony. Give Tim Hunt the megaphone and he can phase lock into any assemblage in my resonome. From breath to heartbeat, the neural circuits forming actively. My connectome is a tree trunk, the resonome is a canopy. Is that me? Just ruffling leaves, frequency bands, synchronies. And once this brain is dead meat, then Baba Brinkman leaves. I don't know for sure, but to be safe, I better say probably. So for now, I'm just happy to resonate with everybody that's right now watching on day 3. I hope you're feeling the resonance ultrasound. Ego lost and found, baby. Psychedelically drowned and resurrected in the house of pain. See, jump around like signals on an electroencephalographic ground. Let's all subjectively vibrate consciousness now. Let the signals bounce together until we all come down from my cortex to yours. Harmonically pulse and pound, and then cease all together. We'll be going round. All right. That was my day 3 wrap. Let's go back and see some more of the wonderful content that has been submitted in video form. So we've heard from a few. Okay, let's check out something from Anna Arribas. I think I've got one right here. I'm going to share my screen. I saw somebody say that they couldn't hear me when there was a screen share on, but I really just don't know how to fix that, so I'm just going to talk over it. Hey, this is Sky Nelson. Sky again, my bad. There she is. This is Anna Arribas.
some photos. We are one.
I'm pretty sure this is the illustration of exactly the opposite.
The conference.
Well, we are one.
Yeah.
And can you guys hear me when I'm screen sharing right now? Are you able to hear anything that I'm saying? I can't tell. But
I understand the concept of the we are one.
Yeah.
But generally people who say that don't practice.
Here's a special
Exactly.
from Abby, who we are all deeply grateful to for having put this all together.
It's almost like a passive aggressive tool.
It can be a...
Down that little.
Dave Chalmers and Deepak Chopra. Gross. Sophie. Yeah. Tucson, I miss Tucson. Have you ever been to Tucson?
No.
That's pretty unusual for me to have been anywhere in the world that you haven't, right?
I think I've been through Phoenix once. I spent a day in Phoenix.
Yeah,
that's it.
Phoenix isn't Tucson. They're very different. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're not. Yeah, they're pretty different.
Each brain matters.
Yes.
As long as we like them.
As long as we like them.
Bruce wanted to be friends when I was asked to go on America's Shark Tank, but then after talking to him, he said,
Words, science, and consciousness. That used to be the T in the TSC. They didn't want to change the acronym. So then they said science.
You could use the word transformative, although there's already transformative tech.
Transformative science. Yeah. I'd say it's more than transformative. There's not
the tumultuous science of consciousness.
Your ideas. We want to hear your ideas. Yeah, we only want to hear your ideas. If you're Stuart's friends, yeah.
Send us all your ideas.
Send us all of your ideas. We're
We're really lacking in ideas.
There's my attempt at freestyling for the night.
Yeah. This is like a homage to the before times.
Yeah. The world that's never coming back.
Right.
Although I do think it will come, like, we'll have conferences.
Thank you so much, Abby, for putting that together. Another thing. So let me just take a look at the second thing and see if that's meant to be shared.
going to screen share the second thing that Abby uploaded here. I wasn't sure if it was, I was supposed to play the one of the things, but I'm not sure if that was the one. So let's try this one. No, this is the 20-minute one. Okay, so that means I played the right one. All right, so let's take a look at another thing here that I was just looking for. The Art of Gong. Okay, this is definitely on the list. Check this out.
I didn't see yours in there.
I didn't either.
The whole one on the list, but
It could be in another folder.
yeah.
Oh, that's
You max that?
in. Oh, you mean the
Screen?
Yeah.
Thanks. Those are all gongs.
Wow.
Sounds good with this.
Definitely.
Right. I saw a few people saying there was some weird sound issues. My computer seems to have too many things going on. Hey, you guys been able to hear me okay, and the video's okay? Put it in the chat if things are sounding great for you guys. I have a note about that what we were just listening to. This was Michelle and Ron playing sacred instruments, gongs, crystal singing bowls, Himalayan bowls, the halo handpan, grab, and the Native American flute. And
Michelle and Ron that live in Tucson, part of the golf. That's what we just heard a segment of. So I have a few more pieces. I think it would be wise to screen share another video right now. It may be because I started recording the Zoom that we started getting some audio issues. So I am reading the chat. If anybody hears sound problems going forward, I'm just going to stop recording this because the live performance is more important to me anyway. Hopefully they can record it on the far side there. So this is going to be Ana Arribas, who has also submitted, I believe. Oh no, I already did it. Sorry, Ian Connect, that's what I'm asking. All right, here we go. Here's Ian. And I am screen sharing that one. And here we go.
Welcome to the Science of Consciousness Poetry Slam. Year's 2020, I'm I.Can, also known as Axis Mundi. Poetry called a miasma of musings. Gazing into delusions and their predilections for predictions, some foretelling of missed fortunes or misfortunes. Portents of doom-filled scenarios starting with points of origins, all gravitating back to singularities. Well-wishers of gravity when levity is needed to propel beyond the event horizons. Well beyond limits of knowledge, Raven has taken the light so we might find ourselves within the realms of bright. But some at the top of pyramids with their secret handshakes quiver at the apex, afraid of falling down from precarious perches. Built upon silver spoon wretches, soon their stomachs convulse as they gasp for air, choking on their own regurgitations of misinformation. Spewed forth for narcissistic motivations, removing all motion from progress in a morass of a hominid's past. The de-evolution is complete as the dolt plays the idiot's fool, an uncompromising existence of expunged ignorance and denial, the only faults of which are the real shortcomings of the clown prince of darkness. Darkness falls.
So that was Ian Kinnair, submission for the Poetry Jam. And I think I should do another rap. How about you guys? Do I have some people still awake watching from around the world? I see, I think I saw Mary's watching from Perth, which is pretty cool. Some pretty big time changes going on. All right, so next up, I'm going to be doing the day 4 wrap up, which was the one I did yesterday. So hopefully that means I'm well practiced and have no trouble kicking it. This is a marathon, y'all. I'm not just talking about this week. Holy moly. I'm still having fun though. These raps keep me hyped. All right, here we go. I'm gonna load up a song. This one. All right. Let's go. Give me a shout out in the chat if you guys are still with us. All right, guys. Thank you, Graham. All right, here we go.
People still in the room.
Reach out and touch somebody through the interweb. Achieve a technological intersubjective connection from my cortex to yours. I'm aware of the mechanism, whether it's panpsychism or an interoceptive system is extreme biological. I find it quite improbable. My mind is a topical rhyme chronicle, thinking it's science solvable. Assessing the odds of all possible past and prior obstacles. So let's break the schema down and see if it's diabolical. I began as a bacteria, just a stimulus responder. No ability to ponder, no mind to wander, or biological imperative unrelenting, just descending from ancestors, reproducing, eating in the form of sensing. It took a nervous system, though, for a mental map to grow, thinking fast and slow, seeking out facts that I have to know. No difference in consciousness from a man to a hamster, though, except in the mental scope. Ask Antonio Damasio. It's the feeling of what happens, the web of imagetic patterns, computational mental scheme or a spell of nobody's magic. My mind is evolved enough to seek questions and answers in a Tucson plenary, or 5 of them back to back from an unconscious bacteria to some sentient atoms. I've had a day of whiplash in the epistemological classes from P.e.a.c.e. and his panel, claiming mind is all that happens to P.e.a.c.e. in the lab, time tracking specific actions. If I give a shout to P.e.a.c.e, I just saw it here in the chat listening. There was your rap right there. I'll just do that line again because do here to here. From P.e.a.c.e. and his channel, claiming mind is all that happens to P.e.a.c.e in the lab, time tracking specific actions. So these are the real subjective matter with no free will. Does it even matter when I'm just here to show lyrical skill? Yes, it matters. Like Eve said, my efforts as rapping has mad readiness potentials connected to temporal tracking. I lose time in the rhyme is blissfully distracting, automating every aspect of internal predictive tracking. But then when I mess up a word and fail to hit the rhythm, you see the connection between depression and perfectionism. I have an expectation of how the rap is supposed to sound, but predictive errors pile up into a perfect storm cloud. I want every line to be a hard hitter. My brain is the arbiter. I need some valence marker disinhibition from Mark Miller. I'll never get rid of the sense of valence, even with meditation. But I can learn to be less perturbed by frustrated expectations. Meditative depersonalization, baby. I spit a hard song, semi-conscious like Sergeant S. Walter Sidney Armstrong. I'm nothing, a detached observer of the rhymes I'm busting. The steam coming from a locomotive. Ask Thomas Huxley, ask Walter on the functioning, the rhyme ability, instantiated across circuits, multiple realizability. Just give me $1 in any denomination and watch me rhyme. 20 nickels and I'll kick it as wicked as if it's 10 dimes. The mental representation of value, right, Walter? That's the point. And now you're gonna volunteer to get paid your salary in coins. I'm trying to be less money focused. I'm prone to materialism, plus a pathological optimist, perennial idealism, searching for a rhyming pattern for a primary datum, chilling with Mary, Alpha, Harry, and a cognoscensory stratum, grounded, boundless perspectival consciousness. What's next? Me and the crowd, we're all co-manifesting subjects, and that's all there is. There's no reality, no cosmology. How am I supposed to choose between these competing epistemologies? I need a system to make this spooky worry back off. A pre-deliberate decision model from Mr. Uri Maos. All I want to do is step to the mic and just rap vividly, but this wizardry is attributed to neural bias activity. Every choice is full of significance and mental energy. Donate to the Gates Foundation or the Society for Christian Dentistry. That's an easy choice for me, like brushing idealism off with a top-down predictive signal that's there. According to Peter Cock, I mean, in the laminar circuit, it doesn't all come from the top. Rapid pattern recognition is bottom up. Ask Philip Goff. No bottom up brain. Bottom up in quantum physics. Cosmological panpsychist. Isomorphic mental images that take the broad standard metal of I got tongue twisted on the exact same line yesterday, so I'm going to do it again. So I guess in the laminar circuit, it doesn't all come from the top. Rapid pattern recognition is bottom up. Ask Philip Goff, not bottom up in the brain, bottom up in quantum physics, cosmological panpsychist, isomorphic mental image. It takes the bog standard model of physics structures as a cosmological substrate for some conscious mental functions, I guess, or maybe it's hidden. I mean, I'm more with Pablo. Is the universe conscious? His answer was God. No, I was with him on active information and on Schrodinger's cat until he said, I confess, I haven't thought about this much in the past. What? I guess I'm thinking too much. The mental steam is just forming. Pablo Buchanan bringing the quantum patterns at 1:15 in the morning. How do I choose the right epistemological views? I'm nervous, blowing my narrative circuits the random. Ask Aaron Scherger, where is the observer? In my brain, it's nowhere to be found. In a readiness potential, a stochastic accumulator account, or is it a modal rehearsal? A total reversal of deep thoughts. Bring me back to the calming proclamations of P.e.a.c.e. Are thoughts nothing but objects and experience? Is a tree gonna hurt if I smash into it? Let's be serious. Is it all just a matrix of sensations up in a cyberdome? P.e.a.c.e. replied by slowly licking his microphone. And saying you're both the subject and the object. Neither is better, and I can prove it by rubbing my thumb and finger together. There is no matter, just an appearance of objects in your why does space-time curve? Space-time is consciousness.
Nightclubs are opening back up in San Francisco.
Already?
The End Up is opening. It's open tonight. I'll bet it's packed.
Yeah, I'm not really itching to go to a nightclub.
No, I mean,
Stabilizing my perceptions, sorting real from stabilizing perceptions and sorting the real from the probably phony. Perceptual phone phenotype, ask Lucia Maloney. We are sentient robots, or we are noetic divine humans. I can't tell from these rapidly succeeding eye movements, but Lucia did help me.
Do they have to wear? You have to wear masks to go inside, though, right?
Yeah.
I do seem shorter and wider. I just can't sort out.
Have you been there? Do you know that place?
Which place?
The End Up?
Yeah.
They have an outdoor area.
Oh, maybe it's just outside.
I'm sure like that's where the gathering is. They're not going to have people hanging out inside.
There's probably still a limit to how many people they can.
It's not that big. I bet they're selling tables inside, and the dancing and stuff is outside.
Yeah. Quite improbable. My mind's a topical rhyme chronicle, thinking it's science solvable, assessing the odds of all the possible past and prior obstacles. Let's break down the scheme and see if it's diabolical. And in the end, I assess that it's not though. All right. That was the day 4 wrap up. Oh my goodness, it's 20 minutes to 1 right now. So yeah, thank you guys for all the nice comments. I don't think I have any more videos that I've been asked to play, but let's just see if there's a fun one.
Yeah, like ours.
I can just sort of like assess the what about Contractility by Alan Mason Poetry? Let's give that one a shot. One screen share. I got a couple more of these to share, and then I'll do my day 5 wrap up for the hardcores that stayed all the way through. I got play cell wraps you guys to share from today. All right, here's Alan Mason Poetry.
Contractility. There is a moment when, just as the aortic valve cracks open and all 85 milliliters of pressurized blood still resides in the left ventricle, with the cardiac muscle fibers bearing down hard in an effort to push that new bolus of blood out the aortic valve and then into the aorta and then the pulmonary artery to the rest of the corpus. At that exact squeezing moment when the blood is still not moved, a pressure wave warning of the impending rush of blood propagates through the entire arterial tree because blood is incompressible. At that instant, the blood is about to move, and as the pressure wave rises, the entire collection of blood vessels that connect the heart to all the parts of the body become stiff with pressure, and so at that time, the entire arterial vasculature links and locks to the heart itself, and all the oxygenated blood becomes fully impressed by the minute cracking open of the aortic valve because all the pancake-shaped red blood cells align like iron filings in a magnetic field in an organized manner, thereby presenting a minimum cross-section to the impinging pressure wave. These affected vessels are then interrogated with an alternating sinusoidal current. There is an impedance change signature that is measurable by those skilled at the heart. This signature is a fingerprint of the heart itself, a measure called contractility that is the most direct, clear, unambiguous statement that the heart makes with each beat. A measure of the fundamental power and agility of the heart, and this measure of contractility tells much about a person's physical state and similarly this person's psychological state. Contractility appears as biological similar to the Big Bang of the universe, where the resulting 13.8 billion years of evolution results from the instantaneous actions of fields and pressures at the moment of expansion. With each passing moment, as our cycle of thoughts carry us through feelings of moroseness or neutrality or joy, the contractility of the heart varies in kind, so much so and so tightly linked that it might be impossible to determine what comes first, the heartbeat or the thought.
As far as I can tell, I have gone through all of the videos that people queued up for me tonight to play into the talent show. there was a sort of group curation process that led to my shortlist. So that's where I am right now.
Guess we didn't make the short list.
For being tuned in for this long and for this scene, I really appreciate you being here. I have one last wrap up, but I felt like, you know, since you guys are the hardcores, maybe I should do a little freestyle before I do the final wrap up, just because why not?
Yeah, you could have interviewed us. We have another 20 minutes.
If you guys just, how many people are here watching this right now, or like putatively watching, tuned in anyway? 55 people. So tell me where you guys are from. What actually, I got an even better one. We did where you're from. I would love to know everybody who's watching, and what is your vocation? Do we have what kind of professionals do we have in the house? Throw me some stuff in the chat.
Peace provocateur.
To my,
Can you write that in?
as best as I can.
Yeah.
And make peace an acronym.
Yeah. What do you guys do? What do you do for a living? I rap for a living. Believe it or not.
P.R.O.
All I do.
T.O.R.
Come on. I rap.
I think it's T.O.U.R.E.
But all I got to work with is Miri. Yes, please. Yeah, come on. That's the way that I drop a verse. I'm gonna take a guess and say Miri is a philosopher. Oh my God, suddenly they're coming. Mad swiftly. I see Ryan Rogers. He is here repping the chemistry. Computational chemistry. That's dope. But check it out. Olga Colbert's got that flow. Cause she's a literature professor. Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I just
T.E.U.R.
to just know this stuff like Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I used to study that. I mean, I'm not done. I used to read Jeffrey Chaucer and a bunch of John Donne, but come on. Now I'm with Heather. I just bounce a verse like she does when she's talking to young people as a counselor. Yeah, come on. I just say what I feel. I'm an artist in the house like a Marianne Neal. Yeah, I got those lyrics and I'm burning some. But my wife is a clinical psychologist like Mr. Ferguson. Yes, indeed. I'm psycho. I can't pronounce your last name now, Michael. Is it true? Anyway, software consultant. Yeah, that's right. I mean, my rhymes are exalted. That's how I'm busted it. Come on, I'm speaking. 2020 graduate, you'll get a job, Ethan. I know you can do that. I got the country grammar. Yeah, check it out. Photobiologist. Yeah, that's from Indiana. I mean, I did it from memory. Even though I lost you off my mental symmetry. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm smashing some. I'm creating machine consciousness with Rich Allen's son. I mean, yes, indeed. Oh, I got crazy, son. That's right. I hope your algorithms are Bayesian. Karen Weiss got philosophy degrees, but I'm burning MCs like 150 degrees. That's right. I just move back and forth in the clutch. I'm a scrum master. You can call me Michael Hutch. Yes, indeed. I could just stop them. Any lyrics you got, even about the heart.
All right, we're going to wrap up this live stream. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and see you next time.
That's how I spit it.